trade. Didn't really catch the fade, but faded the fade. So the reversion of the reversion, perhaps there, off of 126's quick little scalp there. That's all I really have on board today. What about you?
Good stuff. Thank you, Notorious. Thank you, Leanne. Thanks, Mike Peter Ryder. Everyone in the chat. My boy Loss. My boy Gorev as well. Tawby, Peiko OR, Joe Obi. Big thumbs up. We got IBIT. We have TSLL. TSLL over here. IBIT on the short side. TSLL to the long side. Then we have IREN, the only loser of the day. Lose her on this one. We take a small loss on that one. And then USO for the Scalp City guys. So not too bad of a look on USO. And that is going to be your 30-second trade review. Nice scalp as USO continues to climb a little bit higher. Guys, market moving a little bit lower. Tortoiseshell type price action on the triple Qs here at those highs. If it breaks support system of $41, that's going to be the T triple Qs. Watch out for some more downside. But that is going to conclude the midday madness. Yes. Some solid trading with your boy Obi and myself. Looking forward to a couple more days this week, as well as Sharif is soaking up the sun in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, having fun. I know where he's at. I've been to the resort that he's at. Okay. So yeah, so I know what shenanigans my boy's up to over there. I hope he's having a fantastic time and enjoying the weather. Sure, yeah. But it is bye for now. See you at 11 a.m. sharp. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and we shall see you guys later.
Easy.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm triggered. The only concussion, well, I think the only concussion I ever suffered.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is sort of the thing. Like,
you never know.
If I think back far enough, maybe I had a different one, but in the Dominican Republic, I was concussed. I was thrown off a banana boat.
The banana boat, I remember that story.
At a very high and unsafe rate of speed, and I hit the water head first, and the net result was pretty much what you'd expect, except I didn't know I was concussed until like well after the fact. And my doctor, I came back, I was like explaining what was happening to me, and the doctor's like, and the doctor at the resort did what? When you said this, I'm like, yeah, he said I had like a cold or some nonsense, and he gave me like this weird injection.
A cold?
You were concussed.
A cold?
Like, are you crazy? Yeah, he thought I was sick.
Wrong with this man?
By the way, so okay, explain to me. I'm gonna vent a little bit about BM&R. Explain to me how IBIT. I'll go to IBIT in a second. Like BM&R just ran the highs, but I guess I should have started with what's going on in Bitcoin and ETH. How we had like Bitcoin, which broke because Bitcoin went up when oil and everything went downside with this, the president of Iran, I believe, not prime minister, it's president, I believe, is like, okay, with a path to the end of everything. Everything was shooting, there was a buy the dip shot. We came all the way back into the lows on Bitcoin and ETH as well, ETHA, pulls back off of the highs, but BM&R is not caring. It's not wanting to sort of follow the leader. Follow the leaders, I should say, back in from the promised land. So interesting. It's showing a little bit of strength. Should be interesting to see if we can maintain what's been a huge reversal. The Nasdaq 2.8%, the ES 2.3%. Flip a switch, or I guess the comments flipped a switch, and everything that you thought was going on in the morning completely and utterly changed. Like we had gone from trend up to, oh no, maybe not, to slowly grinding higher to massive breakout. It's just one of those wild yo-yo. I saw the yo-yo markets that I believe we saw. It was Obi was showing that graphic of the tennis thing back.
Oh, was he? I missed that one.
Which was absolutely insane. It was kind of funny, but. And now we're into it. We're just in a completely different situation, which should be fun. We have our good friend Brian Shannon going to be coming on this afternoon. We're going to navigate some of this volatility with you guys, and buckle up.
Look, I mean, midday reversals punish traders that stay mentally attached to the trend. And I think today, perfect example, we nailed it right there with USO. I mean, we had a couple reversals today, and as you mentioned, news-based reversals as well, right? And so all the way back in, and you feel like, okay, oil's about to go, and then all of a sudden, crack down there on news, and you're like, okay, now we're starting to get to the downside, and then it just bounces right back up again, almost attaching to that VWAP, but it does not break VWAP. So what do we notice now? We're going to use that as some support and resistance. I enter into the USO trade because it's a midday reversal. We were going upside and up a couple percentage points. Now all of a sudden we flush back in. First point of intention, get short when we break that new level low. Let this happen. You're going to miss the news. When you have such a sharp reversal like you're experiencing right here in USO, you get a nice move down. That's going to be algorithms, box trading is going to grab that. So you just wait, let it settle down, make sure you get the story correct. Then right there, we get involved when we break that low. Average it back in at some of our moving averages. This happens to be a 25 period moving average on a 1 minute chart, and hit the short. Then we reversed it into the long when the moment changed again. But it's these midday reversals that can really catch you off guard.
Well, the thing is, you have one type of a market which sets up, and then at some point, it's completely different from what you were looking at before. Now, there's a couple of things that you got to focus on. First, you've got to notice that you're looking at something completely different. And once you've identified that, you've got a couple of options available to you. One, if you are quick enough, you can try to jump into the trend. It is possible. It is not easy, but it is possible. And you can see it happening in the midst of like normal trading and malaise to, whoa, what the heck are we doing? And if you happen to be looking in the right spot and you catch it, fantastic. The second thing, which I think most traders, you've got to be able to do, is reassess the market. What does that reversal mean? In a particular case here where its energy falls and the market rises higher, you can look over and say, okay, well, if we're going down on energy and I don't capture this breakdown trade, what's the other side of the coin? What was weak that can turn into some strength? Because you can then find those bounce plays out there, and that'll be after the fact. Like we show the move down in USO and both Boyle, reassess the new market. Okay, the new market here is what was maybe not performing as well. IBIT was going down and looking like it was putting in some lower highs, looking like it was going to continue. It broke out. So then you have to assess, do I find another style of trade where I can get in on that volatility? Okay, so we see that volatility is increased. Something which is weak is also turning into strength. So you can short in energy, which worked just fine. We're showing in USO and Boyle, or you can look for a long on the other side of the trade. The Qs in some situations, whatever might be going first, you look for that entry where it pulls back, calms down a bit, and then the volatility is going to come right back in. And then you understand that it's not going to be the same tape as before. And when the tape shifts, the manner of your entries and exits. Because when the tape shifts and you blow through key levels, it's incumbent to try to, when it stretches, let it stretch. It wasn't necessarily doing that before. The moves are more subdued. But once it shows it wants to stretch, once you get outside of the range, you want to hold for that bigger move and hold for that kind of a top. So it's very important not just to see what's going on and react quickly, get out of the things that have been wrong. There's nothing you can do about that shift. But you can reassess what is now happening and where you can execute to join the new market.
Also, when you're looking at something like a USO or any of these ETFs, you can also check what's the underlying, right? What potentially is helping lead this market or extend it through. So if we're going to look at USO, why not check out some of the ETF names like XLE here? That's the Select Spider ETFs. This is going to have the XOMs, the CVX involved. And you can see as the volume picked up, we started the continuation play as well here with XLE. Let's check out the big guy, XOM as well, right? Watch this market move to the downside with the big producer XOM to the downside here. So as we continue to trade USO and you're looking for those reversals, let's just make sure it's not a head fake. We got the move down in oil with this USO play, and there's the move down, right? This is an ETF for oil ETF. As it makes the move back in, you're going to look at a name like a Chevron, CVX. Look at the time this happened, around 1240, USO to the downside. If we go over here and check out XOM, just back to that same example, we could use Chevron as well. Here's your 1240 time as well. There's the move down. Look at the continuation play, much more dramatic in some of the names that are leading. Look at CVX as well. So it's one of those things where, especially if you're going to trade with the futures, you might be trading the Nasdaq. You want to look at some of the big Nasdaq names just to make sure. And here's CVX as well. Make sure that there is something helping you underneath, because when you go over to oil itself, and this is USO, we could also call up the oil contract. You see, it looked like we got a little bit of a bounce, but the companies kept on going to the downside. So there's many different ways to play some of these market reversals. Look for volume and understand what you're trading, especially if it's going to be an ETF.
Yeah, and so important to understand the market that you were trading before is gone. What was working in the morning, you've got to throw it away. The market doesn't care if you rode those energy names to the highs. It doesn't matter if you were up 10% like Nat Gas was in this particular situation when it happened. And this is the other side of the coin which you can remember about these types of moves. It's not always going to be a big news spike that causes a reversal. Sometimes something which is strong can show signs of weakness where it slows acceleration and starts behaving differently. You've got to be able to recognize the difference between what is going on here and where it's all parabolic, and then suddenly we get into a different market where you look over here, it's not choppy, it's just a little bit more controlled. Much more controlled market, and then it flips weak. So going into that news event, sometimes there are signs, and it's just a midday type of thing, where what's going on early has a shift of attitude, has a shift of tape, and you have to recognize what is going on in that moment. And if you don't, you can get absolutely crushed. There's nothing wrong. We call it hit it and quit it. Sometimes early in the morning, that morning rush is fantastic. You hit it and quit it because if news comes in, you get spanked. If the momentum shift happens, you get spanked if you're stubborn. And nobody wants to get burned in that situation. So, do the best that you can to recognize the market's constantly shifting, whether it's just the morning sentiment to the midday or it's breaking news that completely flips things on its head. You've got to be able to adjust. It can mean flipping into something else, assessing where the strength is now coming in, or being quick enough to catch that news if you immediately know what it is. Hope that helps everybody out. We've seen a lot of it in these markets with volatility, and we never want to see anybody lose money because they couldn't adapt.
I mean, that's a great point there. And the tape, Neil, at 9:45, much different than here at any other point in the day, right? So adjust to the velocity of the tape, and that's midday reversals in a nutshell. And I think we had a couple of good examples there today. Yeah, we also had a good example. So by the way, a nice little bump up. I am going to stop out of this USO at 126.40. So we almost got stopped out. It bounces off 30s. I was just going to give this one more little look there. I mean, just so many back and forth topics today to talk about when we're talking about oil. We'll get Adair back here and we'll review some of those stories in a minute. But it's just, we had the president and some of the, Congress, Pete Hegseth, so on and so forth, talking pretty positively about getting their message across. And even, the president of Iran? I know that existed, but came out and also verified some of the talks. Then it came back out again, which is where I went long, because we were short against this 126.50. So that was short. We actually reloaded the short again and tried it one more time and didn't work and went long in this area after almost like a refute of that story, saying that, hey, look, we've seen what the proposal is, but no mas on that one. So then I went long into VWAP and was able to clear that out for more than $1. I mean, this break long right there is 126.70. That's 128. So right there, $1.30 and change. So we're going to stop out for 30 cents worth of a hit. But so far, so good on that early sort of take here with oil. Just sat right back down and started to go short. We got the story, this nothing like, getting ready, went out to breakfast with the wife there, and then just getting ready and watching the stories, and then turning on your station and seeing all of a sudden Jensen in talk here with Marvell CEO and loading up that this whole move here in the pre-market and discussing it. So that was a nice little $2 billion investment into Marvell. So we talked about this just yesterday. And look, you can never predict. I said yesterday, this is not a bad area to think about getting long against the 50 period. But at the same time, when the market looks like the way it does, you do got to have a little bit of faith. And that's a very random event, that happens there to Marvell yesterday or this morning. So nice to see it get back to the upside. I think the long story short with Marvell is we're all looking for a much bigger take here, right? I mean, I'm looking for that back up to this 130 area, if we can get that going. A break above this I'm calling this the SoftBank high. I know it's not really, they had earnings that busted up through there, but when SoftBank came out and said, by the way, we like ARM, you know, we want to get back into Marvell a little bit there. So, but anyways, back upside. We'll see if it breaks 100. I know Obi was looking at $100 there, but it's yet to break.
What I find?
How'd the Blue Jays lose 14-2?
I don't want
to.
Look, can we not talk about losing?
I'm trying to wear the hat today.
This is a damn
Trying to get the Blue Jays going over here. And then, of course, Ponce, we just paid him all the money. And did he have his MRI? It was supposed to be today.
I haven't seen the result.
Okay.
I haven't seen anywhere post the results of the MRI. It's brutal, man. You have a dude who worked his butt off to get
nothing you can do.
To get back into the major leagues.
And then it's a fielding thing. Like he's fielding the ball. It's not even like a...
It's like the most
an odd thing that happens there.
What I was gonna say with regard to Marvell, I found this interesting, at least for myself. The other day we observed that, you were talking about SoftBank there, the other day we had observed what was going on between, when Marvell had a big bounce, we had seen ARM also go as well. And then you remember back that SoftBank wanted to do a thing. At some point, months and months ago, there was some chatter of, they had wanted ARM and they had wanted Marvell, and there was some thought about combining the two. So at least for now, there's this like drag up story happening between ARM and Marvell. Like if you look at, like ARM was slowly moving higher in the pre-market, reacting to that news, and didn't have news of its own. Remember, like it was just slowly reacting, but then at the open, it basically just said, okay, well now at the open, people are like, well, we're just gonna follow Marvell. And it did that explosive run. So I feel as if, at least in the time being, when Marvell does these crazy spikes, you can maybe jump over to ARM. And I wasn't thinking this until I looked at my quote board in the middle of the day. I'm like, okay, like I know we're bouncing, but why the heck is ARM up like 7%? Yeah. Or it didn't really have any news. And then I remembered sometimes it's been following along with Marvell. So if I see Marvell fail $100, there isn't a story with ARM that's lower hanging fruit to short. And I'm not saying, look, when I say Marvell failing $100, it could be as simple as it makes a topping tail candle and pulls back 50 cents to $1 and just looks like it's made a top. I think in that scenario, ARM could really have a bit of a pullback, maybe even all the way to VWAP, even if Marvell doesn't go quite as far. So that's going to be a bit on my radar for sure. I just got out of USO here, breaks lower, fine. Still pretty good trade there to the upside, right? I mean, try to take risk and reward. And, we did talk about that in this market where you don't really know what that next headline is. I mean, we're going to be plugged in. So I want to thank everybody for watching us both here on Instagram, live on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Kick, on Rumble, on TikTok. Shout out to everybody watching on TikTok, and thank you for doing that. One of our newest entries into the stream for us, anyways, live on TikTok. So I want to thank everybody for doing that with us here today as well. Get your questions in. We're looking at all of the chats as well. As now the S&P and the Nasdaq both starting to inch a little higher right now, as we just mentioned, crude dipping back. So this is that game that you're sitting here playing, and it's just like, I'm not really that excited to play back and forth unless we get, or maybe we're either going to be at tops potentially now, or maybe even somewhere back here down to 124. I mean, here's the oil space now as well. And yeah, to Neil's point, I haven't heard anything different from Brian, so he'll be on. If you guys are looking for Brian Shannon from Alpha Trends, will be with us in a matter of 20 minutes or so, and we can ask him about this reversal, maybe what this looks like in his opinion today. But I think in mine, I think you got to just give it a second again, because this morning we were sort of rocking again here on oil, and then all of a sudden, it does make sense that President Trump and company are going to sort of talk this whole oil up. Talk the piece up and everything. Circles moving. Okay, we can get that going. So I just think be very, very careful here, because as we talk more and more about. We'll go to Adair if we have news on that Circle trade. Apparently, Joe just mentioning here about Circle. As this more and talk goes back and forth, we don't really know what to expect from Iran or even the United States. And you would think that if peace is happening, maybe they wouldn't be sending those naval troops and sort of all those. Look at Karg Island there, and I don't really know what's going on, but we know that Palantir Anduril got another contract there. I think the market was maybe looking for anything to grasp to, especially after, like yesterday, like at some point it just gets a little bit too much. Too much is not the right word. At some point, I still have a 60-minute from earlier. We were talking about higher time talking about the higher time frames earlier. I think you just get to the point where there's been enough of this selling, and you just need to have a bit of a relief rally. If you look at the Qs, like even when we had one day, just go back to the 23rd, and even that barely counts because at the open it was trend down. Like I think even the times that we've shown strength, it's like it doesn't make a difference. You have a couple of weeks of this, you get past that 10% mark, everyone's itching, and when everyone starts talking about, okay, we're just going short till it stops working, and this is the shortest market, and blah, 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 eventually you're gonna be able to cling on to something. And we already had a bit of a push up this morning where we were looking a little bit strong. So when that starts to go, we get one piece of news, and then all of a sudden, it lets the floodgates open. But it's worth remembering here. This is a single day. This is one day in what has been a lot of things that are reverse trend. I look over and I see NVIDIA. NVIDIA is still under the 200-period moving average. It's one day. Are we going to regain some of that support? Some of it at 170, but we're not really, we're not out of the water yet. Like the places where we get worried about the sellers coming back in on the stock are like $10 away on NVIDIA. I look over at Tesla. And Tesla is still under the 200. Again, it's one day. The daily chart looks okay. You're never going to hate on catching a bid where you want to catch a bid, right around this 350, 360 area. But we're still under the 200 period. You haven't broken any trends. There's the two stocks that you heard us mention before. They're up big, Marvell and ARM. What's the difference between these charts and the others? This is local highs, higher lows. And then ARM is also from the bottoms in and up. It pulled back, and it's now above the 200 again, and it's kind of holding an upward trend. Like if you can find the places where there's maybe already strength, at least kernels of strength, it could be an easier place to navigate into. And as far as Bitcoin goes, I said this in the morning. Yeah, I'm not. Bitcoin, remember we talked about this whole support to resistance? Oh, I know, it's this I have to condense, make it a little bit better and easy for you guys. There have been these channels on BTC where you get this consolidation, breakdown. If we can come to the chart there, Andre. Oh, it's a, yeah, I think they're just talking about something there. We had this consolidation breakdown, and then the trend line support turns into resistance. Consolidation breakdown, then the trend line support turns into resistance. Well, we're just tagging the top of that support line on Bitcoin. So that's bearish until it breaks out, man.
Yeah, I thought
that's
so.
all I'm thinking
maybe
about.
Maybe not, no.
Here, I'm just being patient and saying if we're not actually breaking back above this trend line, that still looks like a bit of a short to me. So that'll require coming back and maybe not jumping quickly into, oh, I think everything's a short on BTC, but overall reminding myself that the daily chart still doesn't look good for that sucker. I got the eyeballs on Boyle here. That didn't even get to VWAP on that last push up. So I think as things calm down, you might have a situation. This has been going from trend into little chop, and then when it goes into the chop, you wait for the reversal. This time it was on news, so it wasn't very fast, but it goes into the chop and then accelerates, goes into the chop and then reverses trend. Might have missed this chance at it opening. So once I see it, if I see it chop up again, like here, I'm gonna revert that move in USO. That's the plan of action. If the market stays strong, this in my theory should stay weak. Not that we have any idea what happened in that gas this morning. It was just, that was another weird one. Like Marvell, we knew why it was going up. Marvell, there was news.
Yeah, we knew.
Boyle, there was nothing this morning. Like we were just sort of sitting around, energy was doing nothing, and Boyle decided it was gonna go for a 10% move to the upside, and then just been selling off ever since.
I'm looking for some opportunities. I do see silver. I see some people talking about it. I'm restarting this. So get ready to start voting immediately. Fresh restart right now. You got to get into the chat right here, whether or not you're in TikTok, whether or not wherever you're watching. You're just going to type in here and you're going to type in $PLTR. And then that's going to start to come up and it's going to populate here in a matter of seconds. There's Palantir, 1 vote. So you're going to vote and then I'm going to look and I'm going to try to figure out what names we want to all look at here as a group. So I did want to look at silver. I'm going to call this up in a minute, but get going on that. I won't even close the tab. I'm going to keep it open. All right, so SLV there. You know, this is actually a good point. So silver right now is up 7 almost 7%. So a huge move higher here for silver. It's still going. I like it. I like the 50-period moving average. I like the fact that we held down here at 67.40, 67.50. That looks like some good holds, right? And it was, not only did it hold, it held after a big volume spike. So for me, that's another sort of a check mark there. Like, you get the volume spike, it does have an opportunity to rip itself over again and doesn't do that. So I don't mind that there for silver, that hold. But I think we got to get it back a little bit. It's got to at least test this 50-period moving average. And if that can happen, then I think we do push that long. There's the bottom of 67.20. So really, really like that exact very bottom there as some sort of support. So feel like that's well within the risk parameters for us. But, okay, so now the markets, what's going on here? Maybe nothing? Okay, maybe we don't have to worry too much about it. Here comes the 50-period, like almost quick as you like there. That was a decent move in. And now that we zoom in, that's only 15 cents. Like, that's not even that huge, really, of a move down in. Let's wait. Let's wait, actually. Let's wait for this 67.40 to 67.50 area there on silver. I think that that's a little bit of a better spot for me to think about going long the 200 period, because here's the break right now of the 50 period. It's not a horrible spot to think about long. I'm just going to give it a little bit of room here. It's only 230. So if we can get back to 67.40, I like that trade, okay? So that's one there on silver. I'll take that one. So I'm going to sit there at 67. Actually, I'll just, as we look over this, I'm going to put a bid there, just because I don't want to just tell you guys I'm going to take it and not take it. 67.40, we're bidding silver 67.40 SLV. Okay, I don't want to get in trouble calling it silver again. All right, Meta. We do understand Fabian's not in today again, so we do have the prices are all wrong on this, and I've restarted it and everything, so that's okay. The votes will still be here, the charting and all that won't hook up. So Meta right now, a talk. I mean, I think Meta might be something on the rebound there. I actually want to ask Brian Shannon a little something about Meta if and when he comes. We can have a look at Marvell real quickly there, and I know Neil sort of already looked at it, and I'm going to keep attending to that voting mechanism there. So go over, hit your dollar sign, and then whatever stock you want us to talk about. I still like that, MRVL. I still really like that top that we had already seen there at 99.50. I mean, we hit it twice. So I think I'd like to test that one more time, maybe even try the short into $100 if it comes up to there. Definitely seems like there's some supply there, and it does match with what we'd seen in the past on MRVL, because it had stopped out in and around this $100 space a time before, right? And so we've seen that. So I do think there could be some good supply there. I do always look for the 200 period like we are there on silver, but I don't know if that's going to hit here for Marvell. That's a little too low down. So maybe a break, if you're looking to go short, break of 98.50 on MRVL right now might get you what you need. But for me right now, either a short up there or a long there on silver is what I'm going to be waiting for. We'll go over some of the stories, and we're talking about the broader market, but just to give you a couple ideas that I'm waiting for, because at any time, we could come right back. There we go. I just heard Saudi Arabia shelter in place right now. So obviously there's some sort of a threat there.
Words that I'm glad we never have to.
Yeah, I was going to say I wish safety.
The worst we deal with is
obviously for all of our friends there.
Ridiculous thunderstorm this morning.
Yeah, that was loud, wasn't it? What time was that at? It didn't really wake me up, though.
All I remember is I drive to the train station. I catch like a train before 6 a.m. I have a 5-minute drive. I saw on my drive-in, there were 5 or 6 lightning strikes that are bigger than anything I have seen or heard in like multiple years. Yeah. And that was on a 5-minute drive. We got a wild one this morning.
I woke up at 6 and the same kind of thing. I was like hearing it, but I wasn't sure if it was the end or.
And I had already left, but apparently like my daughter, like she sleeps through a lot of stuff. Yeah. She woke up to go to the bathroom and then could not get back to sleep because of the lightning storm, which I guess is pretty normal. Let's do a poll here if we can as well. I want to fire this up, and get ready, and you guys are going to read, and some people are going to jump the gun. But if you're not, I always have to say this. If you're not in the chat to participate, whether it's our visualizer, whether it's our polls, whether it's to ask questions, whatever it might be, it's the subs-only chat. Hit the subscribe button right now. Jump into the chat. Say hi. Lots of cool people in there, and some people that are funny and jokes, and others that are all serious, and it's all about the trades. But let's be real. We had a 3% reversal, or whatever, in the Nasdaq, 2.5 in the ES. After today's reversal, is the bottom in? I should have put a question mark. So there you go. My old English teachers can't hate me. Yes, number 1, yes, we're going back to all-time highs. Not yes, we're bouncing for a little bit. Yes, we're going back to all-time highs. 2, no, the war isn't over. We're going into official bear territory. And 3, neither one of those things is happening in a reasonable amount of time. It is pure chop zone here. So I'm not completely convinced it's over. And I just remember,
Did you hit start voting?
well, I usually.
Everybody's already voting. We got.
Do you see how long it just took?
I know, but we got to hit start voting when we do the question because everybody gets so excited.
And now everyone
again.
jump in and look at this. The other thing is I just remembered, whatever you type in as the question just starts popping in as the question. So we're going to jump back over, and I'll try to keep it like yes and no. But yeah, let's be real. A lot of people, almost everybody is like no. It's 51%, and I gave you the option of neither. Right? So the neither is 38%. The yes is 10% and think we're going back to all-time highs. That's how bearish this market has gotten for us, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is clearly just a...
Usually...
this is just a bounce today. I mean, I don't know if this is a reversal day. I mean,
who the heck was that that even
Plus, we
said
don't
that
even
from
know.
Iran? Nobody knew. Did anybody know the name of the president of Iran who made these comments before it was announced today?
Oh, not before, yeah.
Adara, you didn't before?
I didn't know who this president...
If Adara didn't know who this was
Gentleman is-
before, then nobody knew who this was before. At least around here.
I didn't even know there was a president
I
of
didn't know, like, yeah.
Iran.
It's all good.
But it doesn't matter.
Just very quickly, I meant to do this, and then we went to the poll.
I was thinking about shorting.
I think, look, IBIT has had the trend bottom from the morning, whatever nonsense, actually coincided with the support from when the market went ham, and then we just bounced off the same trend line. So this is actually holding, not an all-day trend, but from the morning lows to our news reversal to this higher low, which just got put in when oil pulled back. If we lose the trend here, I think this is going to make sense to pop in the short. So IBIT's going to be on my mind. There is some, remember, it's the end of the first quarter and it's the end of the month. There's some window dressing at the end of the month. Like there are some big numbers that could show up. Meta is supposed to be a big potential sell. Google in there, EA Sports. There's a few things that stand out. TKO is supposed to be a big buy. So you're going to see us maybe look at the imbalance locator a little bit earlier today. That's just because it's end of month. Adara?
We actually did get the headline just now. Axios reporting that President Trump said negotiations with Iran are going well. Make of that what you will. But that's actually not what I wanted to talk about. I mentioned this during the midday, but now new group, and we have Sean and Neil here. I want to kind of restate this. So I did some deep dive into Iran's governmental structure. I mentioned this on the midday. So their main leader, or the leader du jour, the rightful leader, is the supreme leader, the Ayatollah. Now, the president is actually pretty far down in the rankings when it comes to leaders within Iran. The president is actually the acting head of the executive branch. So acting head. So some people were commenting that regardless of what comments are made by Iran's president, it's not necessarily going to be able to make any impact on the status quo.
Okay. So I was thinking about just going short here, the market. I really feel like we may have, I don't want to say the top is, I mean, just like you put that question up, I don't want to say the top is in either. But, you know, just on the last 5 minutes, look, just on these sort of news stories, we tried to spike the market, and every single time we failed off this high. Again, we didn't even get there, you know, like, I don't know, what is going to send this market screaming higher right now? So I don't, like, you know, just something to think about for me. I'm going to start it here right now. As you can see at the bottom, we just take a position there. I'm going to take it against the high 41.60 now on the TQs. And I'm not, you know, it's going to have to get going into the high of the day. So I don't know if we want to average into oblivion on this. Let's just try to pretend like we're going to be right. And if we are, then that's great. So that's what I think I'm going to try to do. Wait, get a better fill. If we can get something like another spike up here into the 30s or something, and again, shout out to my good friend Phil. I saw him actually last night. If we get that spike up, we'll average it in. I am sitting right here at 24 as well. Just take another small fill, get about half a unit, then we'll see if we can put on, you know, our 2 or 3, 4 units, something like that, up and around here if we get going. But again, we don't want to be stubborn about this trade either, because at the end of the day, anything can come out and wipe higher, right? All of a sudden, then, you know, that money and that, you know, what we made on USO and all that is all of a sudden gone because of a bad fill or some sort of a news story that just came out. So, all right, so that's what I'm going to do, just setting up those orders right now. 41.40 is the high. I think that's where we'll sit. We'll sit a little ahead of that, maybe 38s or so. Take something on, and then, you know, if it breaks above this 50, I mean, I guess I can see what is the high here, 41.52s. So, 60s or something like that, then we'll punch out. So I think this will eventually wind up being, 30 cents or so, maybe of risk, maybe a little bit less than that. So well worth it there. We'll see if we run the highs of the day there on the Nasdaq.
Yeah, I just saw a super chat in here from
Not a huge position.
the Unix Epoch.
Okay.
Should we get it right? There it goes. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's a different one. Okay, so you have like 3 of them. So you sent 3 of them. I was about to read the other one, the JP Morgan collar trade, 28 billion is the reason for the spike, not news. Well, I would like it is quarter. It's the end of the quarter, right? So if it's essentially like a position hedge, like buy the S&P, sell some out of the money call or puts as protection, and then you get this extra liquidity balance. What we mean by saying the news is causing the moves up, it's not that we weren't already, and I'll go to the Q. Let's just go to the Qs or the SPY here while we're talking about this. My eyeballs are on Bitcoin because that's what, but if we're talking about the S&P, let's talk about the S&P. We were trending up already today. Like it was a gap up day, we were already trending. This is what everybody means by the news is causing the spike up. Like it's not to say that we were not already in an environment where you're getting dip buys, consolidations long. And if anything, one of the things that happened today, which would confirm your point, the Unix Epoch, would be that when the market made a distinct turn, like how many times we've seen in this market, you break trend, it's game over, straight up game over. Once the futures break any uptrend in the morning, you know it's game over. That happened. And what happened? It held the morning low, bounced, held VWAP, and it was resuming uptrend. So we were already seeing something different, but you can't discount the news, right? Like that headline caused a move that was bigger than the entirety of the day. I think there's room for us to be able to acknowledge both. And another one, 64.75 was a key level. They had to buy it up. And you're talking about, okay, so like, let's go. I'll just show my ES chart so that everyone gets an idea of what's being talked about here. It would be this resistance spot right in here. So it would have been resistance for the last couple of days. And once we were holding above, they had to buy it up, which makes sense. But the explosion in the afternoon, certainly both things can be true. It did start out and probably a bigger candle because of the headline, but there was already some underlying buying going on in the SPY. So you're rightfully so. You know, and I think it's great. I think educating the audience is certainly an important thing here. Moihar is asking about Circle. So there's
I was going nuts.
Yeah, like there's not an independent story on Circle here, but I don't think it necessarily needs one. BM&R is up 8%. Okay, Circle is up 8%, roughly 8%. They're about the same. ETHA, now it's a 24-hour market. I understand that, but it's up 4%. And is making a big bounce. IBIT, which I'm still thinking, it doesn't seem to want to break this trend line. Okay, Bitcoin sucks, man.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, look, it's just also not as volatile. We've seen this before. When we have up days, ETH has been beaten up a lot, and BM&R gets beaten up more, so they tend to rally on a percentage basis more. But at the end of the day, I think Circle looks like it's just following alongside of those cohorts. I think that would be the explanation for maybe why Circle is going. And if you go from the news, or whatever we're calling it, I'll call it the spike, the drop in the USO, from the Iran president news, we've pulled back enough that we're retesting the trend line as we speak. So while I'm looking for Bitcoin, which is weaker, to break the trend line down, you could also be playing this trend line upside over there on Circle. Let's have a look at the higher time frame, because I think it's important to keep some of these things in context for Circle, if we can, if that's even possible at times. Actually, so Circle is at $97. Mm-hmm. So on a weekly chart, can you see the bounce? You squint hard enough, you can see the bounce. If I go to it daily, you can see it a little bit better. See, that's the bounce. Like this is the 8% that we're like, wow, look how strong Circle is. After all of this to the downside, like a recent local highs were at $134. We bounced $7 here. This is not breaking out the champagne.
Not that much of a bounce.
Yeah, like this is the equivalent of, okay, you went on like a 7-0 run, to start the game. To start an NBA game, like you shouldn't be breaking out the champagne and thinking that you're about to win. Like
not balling out over here.
Maybe it should be a little bit more than that. And certainly, you never want to be that person celebrating too early. You can see it too many times in sports. I still have no idea how that happens in football, where someone drops the ball across the goal line. Still,
that's crazy. Huh?
It's crazy to me that in a world now where every single highlight is shown 1 billion times, people still do it. The Unix epoch. Thank you for touching on it. No, thank you for bringing it up. That's what our community is all about, Adara.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know there's nothing on Circle. I looked it up. I'm not seeing anything here. Also, we're now seeing comments from Pope Leo on the conflict. He's hoping that we can get an end to the conflict before Easter Sunday on April 5th, which I'm only bringing up because, again, if we do get some kind of response here, this could move oil. But yeah, now we have calls from the Vatican, another country, I guess, entering.
Always nice to get the Pope involved, of course. All right, so we do have. Thanks, Adara, for all that. I mean, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
If it got resolved this weekend, next weekend, any weekend, I'll take it. Right? I think anybody at this point would be excited to get better news regarding what we're experiencing now in the Middle East. All right, so here we go, man. We do have a short on. We're in the money finally. Well, we're flat on it. We're waiting for 25s. To get filled up here, and hopefully we're able to capture that bid as well. So right now, we averaged it in. We talked about where we were going to get stopped. I mean, our exact trade pretty much panning out. I mean, it went up. We said that if we wanted to see this capable of potentially breaking through, and it looks like right now I'm just setting up some orders to get some bids out here. I'm bidding 25 right now, just at this. Well, now it's 27. That is your 25 period moving average. See if we can, just take out a little bit of stress out of this trade. If it can come back in there, and then we'll wait. I mean, it's not. We got to get lower than this. Like we do have a bid. Do I have one at 41? Well, that's the 41.25, and then I have one a little lower here at 10s, and then maybe after that we can, start to rock and roll a little bit more on the downside of that trade. So that's what we're waiting for there, and just to check out, oopsies, what USO is doing, because oil is going to, of course, move with USO. So we definitely want to be able to check that out as well. Okay, so there it is. There, heavy shelling on Natanz in central Iran. Okay, so not great there. I guess another dock bombed. Okay, so can't be good there. It's funny, we just called up oil right now.
Haqqani was the name of the terrorist guy in Homeland.
Oh, okay. Interesting stuff there. But there it goes. So we'll see. I mean, USO is not really reacting. Obviously, if this was, completely horrendous news overall, you would probably see the market coming back down. But again, I just think it goes to that whole talk about, talk is cheap. Like we got in here on this break. We sort of talked about getting in on that low break rate there, averaged it up into some of these levels, brought it back. Once we took out the 50 period moving average, we're able to punch out of that and go long, which was okay until it wasn't. And now it's just like back and forth roller coaster choppiness. And that's what's exactly happening with this trade here on the Nasdaq, very similarly, right? I mean, if anything, it's actually starting to go higher, which is why I'm getting a little nervous. I mean, I can't even get the bid here right now. So this, the Nasdaq may continue its extension. Risky always, man, to go short. Nasdaq's up 3%, and I'm, layering into the short. So I'm just going to try to see if we can get some kind of cover down here at 25, and then a little lower, and then we'll see if it does go. So we're flat on the trade right now. We're short at 33s. We could take 33 out, but we'll hold it and see if we can get something else going on. You already touched on IBIT, so I'm not going to.
The dollar back under 100? Deal with the Dixie.
Is it? The Dixie's back underneath? Okay. And the VIX, too, we could probably have a look at that.
It's down to 26, so that's not bad.
Okay, that's not bad. Well, yeah, obviously it's down. I mean, look at this move today, man. It's a nice one. Okay, Marvell, right back in. And so I've just been too obsessed here building this position in the TQs. But you guys remember just a couple seconds ago, we talked about Marvell potentially being a short up here if it came back into these levels one more time. So there's 99.40 hit, so 99.50 would sort of be your short. You probably would have wanted to hold it against 100. So right there, if you are short, take this out, man. You're almost 1-to-1 there on the Marvell short that we kind of planned out there for you. So hopefully that winds up coming in to the downside for those of you that do have it. And if you don't have it, I don't either. So all good on that one. Yeah, so that's about it for that. Did our silver trade work out? I mean, I pulled that bid, no. So I was going to try to go long on silver 67.40 if that comes in. I still do like the idea behind that trade. So if that comes in, I still think we like that. over there. But let us know again in the chat if there's anything. Send a super chat or just try to get our attention there. I am going to set auto cancel off to that and then call this up. We can see what your voting has been at as well. But this is what you guys want us to talk about quickly. Bullfrog. So we can check out BFRG. Come on, TQs, man. We went 5 cents in the money. Rigetti. Yeah, what were people talking about Rigetti? I saw Rigetti up 13%. There today. Was there news about Rigetti, Adara? Or maybe it was the whole, it could have been the whole quantum space. I mean, you know, this space has been another one that's been beat up for a minute.
It was a Google headline on quantum this morning with regard
so
to
up,
crypto.
Okay.
It was more of an article wasn't that new.
5-minute chart looking okay.
Or you could just be going up because the market's going up.
Yeah, okay, so no news there. So let me just double check. So this is what I like to do. We talked about at the beginning of the show there, you know, look to make sure that, you know, what's going on in the sector is affecting the stock, or if it's stock specific. So you can see QBTS up more than Rigetti there today. And the other one is IonQ would be another big one to go with.
Not seeing anything on any of them. I just went through them all.
Perfect. So as well as like we were just sort of getting out there, Rigetti, IonQ. So nice little bounce day today for the quantum names. Maybe you are overdone now on quantum, right? I mean, sometimes there's going to be plays. We see Big Bear AI today getting a bounce of same way, 15% or so. And it's just at certain times, stocks are going to get sold off, especially ones that aren't making any money. These guys still, none of these guys are making money. So right now, it's hard enough to pick. It's hard enough to pick stocks in this environment, let alone you know, lay your sort of head where stocks don't make any money. So IonQ, a tough one.
This is what I was talking about. I'm
something about Google.
I don't really see in the actual paper, but here's a headline. It was Crypto Network's quote, must wake up after Google exposes nightmare 9-minute Bitcoin break. Quantum computers to crack Bitcoin cryptography may roll out in 10 years. So they basically said you're biding your time. So what could be like a small breakthrough paper. Well, the degree to which it's a breakthrough is open opinion, but it's about this Google story. And if that's the only reason why Rigetti's up, it's like Rigetti didn't make the breakthrough. So I would be skeptical if we're going to go. We have Brian coming on, but I have another one before we get there. If IBIT doesn't break trend, then I have my eyeballs on SoFi. Because our good friend Brian's coming on, I'm going to use the phrase that he said so often. I'm going to start things off by saying, this thing is guilty until proven innocent, and when you don't break out a key level and it fails, I look for the reversal. You pump into resistance, and then you look for a bit of a turn. Turns are what we have, and I'm glad that on such a huge volume day, where we've had the market go yo-yo and haywire, and we got a 3% day coming in, we can bring Brian Shannon on to be able to discuss how we're supposed to navigate this. Brian, welcome. Hope the day is treating you well. We can finally look at our long-term accounts.
Not yet, can we?
You guys are more optimistic about me being here than I am. I don't know what to do here, truthfully.
You're not going to turn the whole market around for us, Brian?
It's just, you know, it's short-term trades. I'm not sure I trust it again. We're still below key moving averages. We're getting a bounce where we were kind of supposed to. We were getting oversold. Now we have news that supports it, and the pattern of lower highs and lower lows in the S&P 500 here with all my chicken scratch, you can see has not changed. This is so far a lower high from, just where we were 5-6 days ago. But there are opportunities. I'm currently in a short-term trade in Micron. I bought it as it bounced from the daily VWAP right over here, and am looking at possibly exiting soon. I mean, we're still below a sharply declining 5-day moving average. So to me, it's a day trade. Maybe I'll transition a little bit overnight, but I find it hard to trust anything, like you said, Neil.
Well, okay, so it's one thing not to trust it. And we did a informed poll of our viewers, and there was like 40% of the viewers thought that this is going to result in more chop, not getting back to all-time highs. It was only 9 or 10% that thought that this is the start of us getting back into all-time highs, which I think is about right. But there is that sentiment, or the truth. It's not sentiment. It's the truth that bear market bounces, bear market rallies. Like the weaker the market is, the better the short-term bounce plays are. So you do want to look for where those bounces are going to come. So my question to you is, where do you identify where you feel the best about the bounces? Like, is it Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, I think the liquid leaders, which is why I'm in Micron, even though it's, it's basically broken here recently. You could look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA bounced, yesterday perfectly from the anchor from the tariff lows. And I wouldn't be surprised to see NVIDIA continue up we still have the lower highs and lower lows, but maybe up towards this 175 to 180-ish level. So we've still got some room in there, but they're good for the bounces, but you've got to have 1 foot out the door. You've got to peel some off into strength. Don't let your confidence build just because the market is continuing higher. Instead, you look at something like this at the end of the day. If, let's say you bought it at 168, 169, and say, it'd be prudent to take a third of this off, because if it gaps lower tomorrow morning and then recovers, well, you can buy that third back at a better price. And then you don't feel like such a fool for riding the whole thing down when we do have a market that's this stock that's still in a downtrend.
Yeah, and I think this is something that I know you mention all the time. Like, it's understand what the overall market is for a given stock. I want to get your thoughts on something a little bit different though, because you mentioned NVIDIA, which at best, you could say on the daily chart has a long flag, but it's under the 50 and 200 period moving average. You show Micron, we've all seen the Micron chart breakdown. How about something that's in an uptrend? Like, I'm looking at like a GEV here. Like, this is in a pretty decided uptrend. I could have picked a few other names, but I'm going to go with this one because it's the first one that came to mind. And candidly, I own shares of GV in my long term. That's why it's the first thing that came to mind. Like, in this case, you're dipping into the 50 period moving average. My first thought is, if this move is immediately reversed and you lose this support, that becomes really bad for a good stock. How are you looking at stocks that are not coming off the lows, but are pulling back and holding an upward trend? Do you have any dip buys in that regard? Are there some reversals that are still out there if this bounce is no good?
No, I think, when you mentioned GEV, I was looking at saying, it found buyers at the 50-day moving average yesterday, and now we have a higher low at an important level. So we have the higher highs and higher lows, as you mentioned. Now this becomes the key level. If that breaks, just like you pointed out, then there's probably going to be a bigger issue for GEV. And we've lost some important names like LEU just recently. Yesterday broke down through some important support. But, you could look at SanDisk in the same way. SanDisk, it broke below the 50-day moving average, but the 50-day moving average is still rising, and it came down right to this orange anchor, which is the year-to-date anchored VWAP. So I look at that, and I still see, though, Neil, when I look at the 30-minute time frame on the right, and that's basically from here, all this data is this data here on the right, basically. And in here, we have this high, then we have a lower high. We had a higher high on a gap open, which you never trust. And then is this a lower high with these lower lows? This might be the beginning of something, but if it can kind of maybe do this and stabilize for a day or so, then SanDisk might be the good one to continue to move higher. Or if, let's say, you did purchase it today, then maybe half of your stop goes under here, the little pullback low, and then the rest of the stop says, if it breaks back below that, then I'm out of it. Otherwise, shoulder, head, create a right shoulder, and then continue to back up north of 700. That wouldn't surprise me in a stock like SanDisk.
Brian, your Colorado Rockies dummy to the Blue Jays yesterday. I think it was 14-2 or something. So I've got on the Blue Jay hat here and try to motivate them. It seems to have motivated the market a little bit. This is the end of the quarter now, right? So finally today we get maybe potentially a little bit of window dressing coming at the end of today. But if you go from, January 1st to where we were today, Nasdaq's still down about 6%, 6.5% or so for the quarter. Is that something that you look at right here? Because heading into the quarter, we may have also found some support. I'm just talking about the Qs here. If you wanted to just maybe have a quick look all the way back into August. Like, I know we're underneath and, we're still in the penalty box. And yeah, maybe this is, an opportunity today to just get that, some of your positions out. If you've had a lot of pain, take this 3%, move higher. But am I crazy to think that we can maybe put on a little long, and I know last week you talked about that for yourself in the S&P 500, and then maybe use right here as a low, because now we've kind of profiled pretty good over the last couple of days. We finally get some sort of an actionable candle that maybe we can trade off of back here to 552, 553. So what about an idea of maybe starting to leg in here on a swing trade, and if we ever break below, then you get out, and if not, maybe we do have that sort of peace dividend that comes through on some positive Iran talk. You like that idea, or is that a little premature?
Well, I think it's kind of similar to SanDisk and Micron in that they still have that declining 5-day moving average, declining 20 and declining 50-day moving average. And these things generally, they correct price-wise, then they need time to heal. This, until proven otherwise, is guilty till proven innocent. To me, it's just going to probably create another lower high, but it doesn't mean you can't try it, right? So let's say you bought this break right here when the news came out today, and then set your stop under here. Take a third off, and if it can continue to do this, great. You've got 2/3 of what you bought, but be aware of these levels on the upside that are likely to be places where we find supply, and especially when we look at something like this, where we had all that support over here at about 590 to 595. That's, if you start getting up into that zone, it seems highly likely that supply will be found, and you've got to just start to peel some off. So, take it cautiously and say, I'm going to start this as a day trade. If my day trade works, I'm going to peel a little bit off and then hold some, because if it gaps lower in the morning, well, at least I took some off and reduced my risk. If instead it continues to move higher, great. I've still got a majority, 2/3 of my position, and we'll see what the market allows. And then I'm just going to continue to manage risk and let the market decide. But with the declining moving averages, it still tells me just, don't trust it as much as you would when we're in an uptrend over here. You can't. That's just not the way the markets work structurally.
So you know what? After looking at that, Brian, I'm actually taking note right here of, I think, IBIT. If you go back to that 590 level that you just sort of picked out for us right there on the cues, it's reminding me of what IBIT's doing right here, but we didn't break down yet through these levels. So right now with Bitcoin trying to hold an in and around, and again, I think it's 66,000, maybe, down into that 62 area as the low again. Doesn't it kind of look very familiar where you had sort of the Nasdaq on that daily holding like you just mentioned, and then all of a sudden it dropped through again right there on the Nasdaq. So just kind of like right into here where we were holding, and then the move back down in. So are we seeing some maybe resilience here with Bitcoin, or are we supposed to be maybe upset that in a system where gold is working to the long side? I know it hasn't been as of recently, but it doesn't look like this. Gold working to the long side, silver, USO, a lot of these commodities working. What do you think about Bitcoin? Should it be hanging out down here, or are we just basing out for potentially a move higher?
Consolidations typically resolve themselves in the direction of the primary trend. The primary trend here is lower. So I think it's neutral at best when you look at it this way. We've got that, on the 50-day moving average bearing down on it. And you can't really look at a 50-day moving average. You've got to look at really the... because 50 days isn't 50 Bitcoin days. Right. It's 50, 5 weekdays. So you've got to look at what would it be? Whatever it is. I did the math somewhere. I can't remember. But anyways, I think you look at Bitcoin and it just looks kind of like a waste of time here. Right. I don't see any reason to be excited about it. But I don't think it's going to break down, but you have to be aware that typically these do resolve back to the downside. I saw people talking about, the commercial speculators are the heaviest long they've been since in some other important low. But someone's selling to them clearly because the sellers are in control. We are neutral at best, basically, like I said.
Yeah, I think that's close to the same thoughts I had there on Bitcoin. Just not as exciting anymore. I don't mind it as an intraday trade to get some of that movement because it still is spiking on some of these global worries and whatnot. So yeah, I don't mind a little bit of Bitcoin there. All right, you mentioned SanDisk, you mentioned Micron right now, and I sort of mentioned the end of the quarter, and you've come on here before, and you're not looking to trade things for too long term, but heading into the new quarter right now. Is there anything that's setting up maybe to the long or to the short side that you're seeing other than those sort of two chip names that you mentioned earlier? Maybe something outside of tech these days? I know tech's kind of looking good. Maybe we bottomed out, but anything else you're looking at here?
Kind of sounds boring, and it probably is.
Perfect.
Advanced auto parts.
Perfect.
AAP, here's the weekly chart, and this is going back to 2022 peak right here. I haven't done this yet, but let's throw an anchor on that. Maybe it makes a rally up towards that level. But here's the perfect example of the thing I often say on your show, which is if they don't scare you out, they'll typically wear you out. And it's done basically nothing for the last 2 years. Now it's starting to consolidate in here a little bit. So I've got an eye on this one. I don't have a position in it. I like the fact that it's consolidating right under the anchor from this peak right in here. And then if we took that and drilled it down on a 30-minute time frame, this is that same peak. So we've got a reasonable place to say, if I get involved in this, I don't like that it broke out and then failed today. So maybe it takes a day and does this, but I know a worst case stop would go under here for this stock. So it looks limited risk. And if it can, push past this anchor on this 30-minute time frame and maybe make a nice little run here on the daily time frame up, something that looks like this, that is, something that's non-tech that might be able to prove itself here.
I mean, that's the perfect stock, because that was kind of what we were looking for, something a little heavier than a tech name. So we definitely like AAP. One last question, and then I'll throw you back to Neil. Because you're always talking about anchored VWAPs and whatnot, a name that gets a lot of attention recently has been Meta. There's been a story going through about, the social media and what's allowed and what's not allowed, what's appropriate. There's been some lawsuits that have gone against Meta in this fashion. So we did have a flush down. I wanted to ask you, is it appropriate? Do we put an anchor? I mean, are we looking potentially here at the start of the year anchor? Are we looking up here maybe at the most recent high? I'm just trying to figure out, where do I put an anchor to try to figure out when do we break that? And I want to go long on Meta. So that's kind of what the question I have for you is. I know we're maybe not setting up for the long yet, but I like the stock. I think coming from 800 down to 520, that's cherry picking the very bottom. But where should I put my anchor? If we anchor from the top here and break that, are we showing some sort of relative strength on that? Where do you think is appropriate for a stock like Meta?
Well, a couple things. I've got this anchor here that I had on from this low back in mid 2023. And that was, I had that here because it touched once prior. And here we are once again. And this has also been kind of this trend line here recently that has held twice in the last 2 years, once in 2004, once in 2025, and here now again this year. So this seems like a place where it's getting its bounce where it kind of is supposed to, based on that anchor. My concern with Meta is that it gets a nice bounce, and that's fine. But then we've got all these declining moving averages still to contend with, that it might carve out a lower high and do something like this and drop, who knows, all the way down to the anchor off of the
oh no, don't draw that.
Too low.
Yuck.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't draw that line. That looks nasty, all the way back down to the downside. We went a weird time. It was such a positive segment, and then we saw that nasty move down there on Meta. But Brian, thank you so much for talking about some of that. And I think that's the important thing that a lot of us, want to keep on educating ourselves with, is the fact of, using more tools, give ourselves that little bit of a safety net, and make sure that we're not making the ultimate mistake, of course, of risking capital at, in inequitable spots. I mean, you want to make sure you get your money in where you have the best chance of winning, and the anchor VWAP does do that. So where can everybody find you, Mr. Shannon?
That in multiple time frames. I mean, don't get just stuck on the one time frame you're looking at, but back it up and say, how does this fit into the bigger picture? And what if? It's not a call that we're going to create that right shoulder and fall apart, but that's something to be aware of. That's the potential. So as this rally in Meta continues up, you start raising your stop up underneath the higher lows in here. And then if it breaks down there, well, you don't feel like a fool if it comes all the way back down. Instead, you're saying, okay, well, it broke the pattern of higher lows, so it's time for me to get out, because the way it fits in with this bigger picture might end up being bearish. it might just continue to move higher. That's the beauty. We don't know. So we manage risk and are aware of the different time frames. And I do this every day on Twitter at Alpha Trends is where to find me.
I thought potentially you weren't going to promote yourself because you never do like to do that. So I was going to say, and on that note, go find this man at Alpha Trend. So one of the best.
If you force him to it, he will.
Yeah, one of the best follows on X. And next time, Brian, I'm going to be promoting your book as well. So go, guys, go find out all about Brian Shannon and more of that. Promise you'll be here next Tuesday if it works out.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you so much. One of our favorites of all time. It's Brian Shannon. Be well, my friend, and go Blue Jays and go Rockies, right? We can both win.
You only have to play
everyone.
him a couple times.
Okay.
Take care.
Ciao.
brother.
Thanks, Brian.
Bye.
All right. There
And
it is, man.
I know there were some questions. We couldn't get to everybody. Obviously, there's a limited amount of time. But I did want to. Let's go to Adara quickly because if there's
Sorry,
any news.
it's a really weird question. For one, thank you very much to Brian Shannon for always killing it. We miss you on when we used to have the market recap. For another, so baseball team names, I'm confused. So like the Blue Jays are birds. Are the Colorado Rockies literally named after the Rocky Mountains? Like, I don't really understand.
Have you heard of the Rocky Bird? It's like every Major League Baseball team is named after a bird.
There's just a
Are
weird
you
bird.
messing with me? I can't tell.
Yeah, you never heard of the marlin? Like the marlin is
isn't
obviously
that
it's a fish. No, it's
St. Louis Cardinals.
It's a fish, but it's also not a well-known bird,
God.
but it's also a bird.
What about the Mariners?
The
though?
New York Yankee bird?
Am I being messed with?
Well, the Mariners are
okay.
the Mariners are a mythical bird.
The
Like, they're
Boston Red Sox?
It's just in literature.
Okay,
it's
Joe,
a
help
bird.
me out. Thank you.
Nah, we're just playing with you, Adara. No, that was a great question.
Joe, let us roll with it a little bit longer.
So generally speaking, it's most team names very similarly. You know, I wonder what the history is, Adara, behind the Jets, actually. Is it? The
why
Winnipeg
the-
Jets.
I don't know. All I know is we didn't have a team for so long. They brought it back, and this kid, like that I went to elementary with, like painted his face every day for like a week in celebration of them coming back. Like
because
I know
the Blue
Jet
Bombers.
fans- Yeah, the Blue Bombers I know, because the planes. Yeah, and we have like buses.
Well, I mean, but if we know about the Blue Bombers because of planes, I wonder what the Jets might be named after.
Oh, planes.
Okay.
Planes. And it's funny too. Back to the bird thing. Our mascots, the Bombers, Buzz and Boomer, they are birds for some reason.
Ooh,
Huh? Okay, now that doesn't make
there we go. There we go.
It doesn't make any sense.
There we go.
We're talking, so for anyone
New
that
York
doesn't know,
Vulture Yankees.
that's like the CFL, which is the Canadian.
Everyone knows about the CFL, come on.
You think everyone knows about the CFL? I'm not
No,
making assumptions around here that our viewers know about the CFL.
no, I don't think they
outside of the two names just mentioned, can anybody in our chat even name another
Well,
CFL team?
yes, there are Canadians in our chat.
I know you can, Adara.
I can name them all.
I can name them all. We just had a super chat here. The Jets are named after the Jets in West Side Story. You must be talking about the New York Jets, who condolences to New York Jets fans.
For the last
and I mean that in a
30
general
years.
sense, for like forever. There's this viral video of this kid.
I know, I think I've seen it,
seen
where
the
he's
video?
just like, I've been born into
Just
this
like
family.
I was born into this. And the Jets will be my team for life. I didn't choose this. My family's all Jets fan. I hate this team. And he's like so genuinely defeated. I'm dying watching it.
I just hope that you're not
I'm a
doing
Bills
the same
fan.
thing to Aaron, man. I
No,
hope you're not
I'm
doing
a
the same
Bills
thing
fan.
to Aaron.
It's the same thing for me, man. Like I was a Jays fan because we're in Toronto, but my dad took me to ball games when I was a kid, so I just love my team. But the problem is I'll get upset for a day or two, but I'm not gonna it doesn't sit there bothering me. Like I've had enough. Like if it did, I couldn't handle being a Bills fan for a very long
Sports is
time.
sports.
Get over it when you get over it. We're gonna go to a dare quick second. But SoFi did make the trend break, so that's the only new thing that I'm in. And someone said. Just quickly, because it just happened, ELAB is halted. The tap I see is literally flat. So it halted at 517. The tap is right at the high of the day. So ELAB high of the day halted. We'll come back from Adara and see if it's open by then.
News here out of the Middle East. Wall Street Journal reporting that the aircraft carrier USS George H.W. Bush is heading to the Middle East with its warships. So again, Wall Street Journal reporting, and this is going to be citing U.S. officials, that an aircraft carrier plus warships headed over to the Middle East. Back to you.
Everybody, volatility creates movement, and for sophisticated traders, movement, of course, creates, you guessed it, opportunity. Beta Pro by Global X offers Canada's first and longest running suite of levered and inverse levered ETFs built for sophisticated investors who understand the risks of leverage and the importance of precision. It's triple levered. Bull and bear ETFs are tied to the Nasdaq 100 index and are designed for daily tactical trades, providing amplified daily exposure and giving traders the tools that they need to manage this momentum. The strategies are currency hedged, seeking to offset US dollar exposure back to the Canadian dollar. For those navigating short-term market moves up or down, Beta Pro offers the flexibility to act with conviction, whatever that looks like for your individual strategies, objectives, and risk profile. Trade tactically. Learn more at betapro.ca. We want to thank them as usual for sponsoring this segment. We also want to thank Diamond Hands. Hopefully we can have some of those as these futures come back in just a little bit. I mean, we gave you guys the out. We mentioned, where I was looking for this particular trade. So I do have an out at 38, and I think I got one at 34. Hold on a second. Double check where we got that last fill. Oh, I'm going to have to sort 34s. Yeah, so 38 and 34s right there. I had to sort by time. So there it is. We are short now on the Nasdaq, and we just took a little bit off. I'm not, we're into power hour now, and obviously when a trade, and we talked about this yesterday, and then it absolutely collapsed, and we did get out probably a little bit too early, but I like to see trades work out for us. But this one actually goes right into where we could have just been more patient with it, But at the end of the day, you can see the price. Our average price, I think, was 38. We've talked about how our first in, first out, all that stuff winds up working. So this is not going to be a profitable trade unless we really start to break down. Obviously, if we get stopped out at the top, then that's that. I just got out of 25% of it. That's it. So we still have 3/4 of this trade on, just at the 50 period moving average and a little bit lower. We're hearing that U.S. aircraft carriers are now being deployed. So as per Adara and as per, Wall Street Journal, whatever here.
It's not causing USO to do anything.
It's not causing anything to do anything other than the market to go up. We did talk about wartime is obviously not great time. I mean, I don't want to sit here and talk like that, but it hasn't necessarily created the huge movement to the downside. I actually think the market's more moving right now on inflationary worries, on the fact that we may not get those rate cuts. And sure, that is all sparked by, this war and this sort of attitude that we all have towards it right now. But at the end of the day, even if they exit Iran today and there's a deal, there will be a spike. There's no doubt about that. And I think this market does definitely have that peace dividend that Ackman mentioned yesterday. But I think that could be short-lived. I mean, especially with the talk. And here we go. I'm going to get stopped out at 61, by the way.
It doesn't change some of the...
Right.
What does it change about the AI spend? If anything, it still has some inflation. It still raises some costs and stretches some margins, even if it's not as big as effect as you think. So a lot of things that were under the hood that were causing some of the pullback already are still going to be in place. The only... The things where you might consider, okay, this is a legitimate turnaround, could just be like airlines and cruise lines and travel names. It might make a bit more sense that they can sustain more. But just going back to USO, if I could, this entire time, I'm in a trend break trade, but it's hard to get excited. If this is what's going to happen for the last 30 minutes in USO, it's had a 40 to 50 cent range. After all the craziness that we just saw, it's basically not moving. It's almost like it needs to start doing something different, and then that's the place to engage. So if we don't see that, there might be, and again, there's some window dressing at the end of the month here, obviously. We were talking about that with the S&P, and we'll expect to see some imbalances, and we'll go to the early look when we get a chance. But there might be better things abroad for the close. But anyways, I'm in the trade. We'll give it to the prior bar high. I'll look for reloads as long as it holds that trend line and nothing insane happens in USO. But what I need to happen, if USO starts tanking, right, then I expect us to go back into highs because that's just what the market's doing. If we break the top, then I think we get to VWAP. But as long as we sit here inside of the range, it should be trying to just get little scalp trades if we're just going to sit here in that tight range. Just throw up the super chat. I know we got some super chats in there, and Dave was one of them if you can. Andre, Dave, oh, you changed your name again. Dave Zed Siamese. All right, Okay. Dave's dumb trade. Back to the dumb trades of the day, which haven't really been all that dumb most of the time.
We should have wrote them down.
I know. Well, yeah.
Oh, well.
Qs, you've got April 10th, 575 puts. Rocky birds, a.k.a. rock doves, are pigeons.
Yeah, you learn something every day.
Oh, in real life.
We got a lot of pigeons around the streets of Tirana.
Just a few. Don't feed them.
No, I don't. I
Feed
know.
the
I
birds.
don't feed the
Don't
pigeons.
feed-
I think the pigeons get a lot of food around here, man. They can dumpster dive.
I don't
whatever they
disagree
wanna
with
do, man. I
like
mean,
puts. Like selling this, Brian was just talking about
He said
that.
selling puts.
Oh, did you? It wasn't buying puts? Never mind.
I don't know. I didn't see what the no.
Let me go back again. It says trade of the day, 575 puts.
Oh,
on-
okay. 575 puts. Okay,
like-
on
yeah,
what?
was
The
it-
cues?
Yeah, it's got
Must be obviously. Yeah.
Got to be the cues.
Obviously.
triple Q.
It's at 575 right now. Yeah, I mean, I think, like I just said about that right here with you and with Brian, and we all just sort of talked about it. Like maybe this is just a relief candle. I could definitely believe in that. There is, again, it's not rocket science or anything. There is definitely that sort of wartime put that's right now on the market, and we all are waiting for that, news that, okay, all clear to start buying equities again. And I don't think we've necessarily got that. Everything that's released seems to be a story, and then there's not that much follow-up to it. So it's kind of like the communication is like, like left hook, right hook, like jab, 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 and then eventually that uppercut you're waiting for really isn't coming. And, everything's kind of being dodged right now. But maybe today, with it being up 3%, into the close, we could break that top. Remember, we are going to get stopped out if we do break that top, and then that's the end of that one. But I can't disagree with thinking that we can get back to 575. I mean, remember, today is also potential window dressing with the end of the month. So, if they want us at the end of the quarter and the month, so if they start to sell off, or whichever way they go at the end of the day here, especially it looks like we're gonna there we go, we take out the bids and we get stopped out. So right there on the TQs, runs that top. Yeah, it's, at the end of the day, we only had 3/4 of it left, but still a losing position. So we do have to hit the fail on that. Never, honestly, if the market's quiet, I know I've said this a couple times, don't give, so what we lost on there was about 35% of what we made on USO. So we still did lose on that. So no doubt about that. We did lose on the TQs. But a quiet market, especially that's up or down. You saw me yesterday continue to fade the market when it was down, almost no matter the spot. Probably should have thought about that with this as well. Like, I don't know why I didn't respect this 50 period. If this was downside, like we've been doing the last couple of days, I definitely would have used the 50 period to go short. So even myself, not really believing that this is worthy of a 3.3% day, but trading on, that's not trading on emotions. That was my initial thought, and we're not going to be emotion with it. We're just going to stop out and deal with the pain of that trade and move on in it. For some reason, I'm getting a little bothered here. I don't know what Obi did. I don't think he did anything because he's not logged in as me. But I'm not getting like anything on my alert scanner here, so I have to maybe
restart your
sit back again on that one.
Your e-signal you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, my e-signal seems to be working. Like
Oh, that's not that. That's
trade
working.
rate.
That's working.
Which
for
one?
me.
Well, we can.
You don't have. That's scanned. That's I have my own alerts set up, so they're not triggering. But I just heard Adair say hers aren't either. So maybe it's. Oh, there's just nothing triggering. Okay, mine I think would be triggering because I do know that I have USO on there, and I have.
It's at VWAP.
That's what I was gonna say. I have VWAP
triggering.
triggering on USO. Like that should have triggered there, which might have actually. That's what sort of got me looking. I was like, there has to be some things here on VWAP, especially things that I've been trading. Like I know I've been trading them around VWAP. So USO there and the futures had bounced off of the 50 period, which is also an indicator that I like to look at. So anyways, we'll get that all figured out there eventually. But I want to thank Obi for obviously taking care of the spot there. And yeah, it was a good one there. All right, so I don't know what other names.
Well, I just see people talking about.
I know you were trading this morning, obviously, but I don't.
BFRB.
Yeah, bullfrog. That's that bullfrog.
If I say bullfrog, you guys know what happened to me yesterday. If I say bullfrog, I'm going to type BU, and so BFRG here. It's trying to get off the schneid. It's not really doing a fantastic job of it. The volume is really slowed down. You did get there was a point where it was taking out the highs. So, congratulations if you didn't think it was completely over after that morning run. It's held on to $1.50, and it's going to be a key level because technically that's the prior day high. So the stair step up is intact for now. And it had the same profile yesterday. There was no crazy breakout in the second portion of the day. There was just, it made a fresh high, and then it just held the low. So it's done the same thing. It made a fresh high in the middle of the day, and it's managed to hold the low. It's kind of boringly awesome for a small capper. So until it starts breaking any of these support levels, the prior day high becomes important. So look at about that $2 level tomorrow. It barely even gapped up overnight. Like really, it didn't do that much of a huge job gapping away. It held on to about $1.05 at the close, and then we're at $1.20 with this consolidation. So it just looks solid, unspectacular right now. And based on yesterday's trade, I don't know how excited I'd be about it. There was a question, someone was asking about Microsoft. We didn't get a chance to mention this to Brian, but I would imagine most of the things that Brian said technically about Meta are going to apply to Microsoft to a certain extent. What I was going to add is if you zoom out, which Brian says, in these moments you should really try to look at higher time frames. This is the end of the month, as we all know. So this candle right now on Microsoft is at the 50 period on the monthly, and it's a bottoming tail candle. A close here is actually holding this level. So the next month is, and the monthly candle takes a month to obviously matriculate and give you a sense of what's going on. And sometimes you can cheat in the second half and be like, what are the odds we were chased through? But just confirmation comes the following month that this is now holding the 50 period and wicking above. If Microsoft holds 375 for the majority of next month, I'll be more convinced it's made a bit of a dip buy hold of this 50 period. And if it loses it, all bets are off. And all three of these levels, which I know I marked these down in probably somewhere in here, the 2021 like dip down into like 2022 or so. I know that's when I marked off these levels, and I just kind of kept them on E-signal, I suppose. I think all three of them probably get tested, which makes sense to me. But this is a crucial month here for Microsoft. Right, Bullfrog not doing much. JL wants us to look at U. Oh, before I get to Unity, one of the... Unity. Yeah, you have to. One of the most disappointing names this morning, I would say. At least to me it was. Because it's hard to be up 12% and be disappointing. But Rocket Lab, it's just, sometimes the market says, haha, well, what you wanted to happen is happening, but it's not for the reason that you wanted it. Like Rocket Lab was, it was actually just an analyst upgrade, but it was holding above our support levels. It was that break trade. It was holding that VWAP, and eventually it lost a bit. There's no chance I would have still been in it when it lost VWAP. But look what happens when that news hits. It just, like the absolute coincidence. Like what are the actual odds that the stock is sitting on the trend line when USO goes ham and the Iranian president says that? Like you gotta be kidding me, right? Like, it's almost like it defies any logic. Like it could be, the stock could be anywhere. It's literally at the trend line break for the whole day, and then it goes ham. So this is, I'll come in tomorrow, despite the fact that it didn't really work out today, unless you went over to that. I went to IBIT for a long, and not Rocket Lab because it was gone, but this has held that 50 period, or sorry, 200 period on the daily. The bounce is somewhat confirmed here, and this is a name with a chance at some continuation. Rounded bottom, and then the breakout has happened. So as long as it can hold this prior low at 62, this one looks a little bit good to go. Adara.
Yeah, I just want to let you know, and I meant to bring this up earlier, and then it did not happen, but I do want to talk about Rocket Lab because there was another catalyst as well that actually precipitated the analyst action we got today. And it wasn't our morning watch list, too, so like I knew this was a thing. But anyways, I guess yesterday after the bell, around 4:15 or so, they announced they received approval from the German government to acquire Mynaric AG. Now, this is a company that makes laser communications technology. Again, this is why we got all the upgrades, so the upgrade story is not irrelevant here, but just a little bit more context. And again, it was on our Trader TV live watch list, so even though I apologize that I did not get a chance to bring this up earlier, if you checked out the watch list, which is free to subscribe to, you already knew.
Context, wait till it comes back. Context does matter because you have to remember with acquisitions are beauties in the eye of the beholder. And oftentimes an acquisition means you're going into debt, you're utilizing shares, you could be going into your cash. So decreasing your cash, if it's too expensive, the market will punish you. If you're paying too much relative value, you'll get punished. If you're taking on too much debt to do it, you can get punished. If it's seen as not good synergy, you can get punished. And there's one more that I'm missing. If you're diluting your shares by using shares, then that's another reason why you get punished. So in this case, the context of of a stock which might not be covered by a million firms, catching an upgrade, it does matter, I think, in that particular situation. That's just like, it's a buyout thing. And we've seen it feel like Merck had a recent acquisition and Merck went to the upside. But for the most part, a lot of times you'll see some weakness on acquisitions for one of the three aforementioned reasons. One more time, back to, well, not one more time, but back to the desk again.
No, I just wanted to say, too, as I mentioned, it wasn't a newly announced acquisition, Neil. That was the other thing. It was the approval of the acquisition that they announced. I just checked on March 11th, 2026. So we already knew they were going to acquire. The acquire has been allowed by the German government. I think that was the positive catalyst, and that specifically was what was cited by at least one of the analysts with the upgrade.
Why I think the analysts matter. Because remember, like Netflix had the opposite reaction. When their bid got rejected and they didn't get the deal, Netflix shot 20% in multiple days. That's why not all things are, it's not a hard rule. It's not a hard rule that positivity of a deal going through, announced or going through, is not automatic stock goes up. That's all I want to get across here, because it's really important. Because I don't want people just punching long on stocks every time a deal gets approved when they're making an acquisition. That is not how acquirers always behave. And again, I know I've been on the other side many times. That being said, it's almost time for early looks. There's a few names that you guys know that are expected to have some big imbalances. I don't see anything too crazy right now. OMC, I don't even know what OMC is, 3 million to the buy side. We know Joby, that's an early look of 2 million to buy. We know Archer, that's 1.9 million to buy as well. TKO is 1.9 million to buy. It is expected to be an upweight. Like, this one is an expected upweight. It's on our notes as an expected upweight. And we know that TKO is not the most liquid stock in the world. It's got a 1.9 million early imbalance. It's traded 1.6 million shares today. Ideally, this stock wouldn't be at the high of the day when you're looking for a buy imbalance. I generally don't like that. If it was down here at VWAP or pulling into some support, that's a much, to me, it's just a better setup, because you're trying to buy it off lows. Like the one we took, I think it was last week, like you would have seen, we had an early look imbalance and you were buying a buy imbalance as it was holding the low of the day. So you just went long and you put your stop 5 cents under the low of the day on, I think it was RMIT or something like that. RTIM? RTIM. It was one of those where you just put the stop at the low of the day, and if the imbalance works, it just carries a high and you have a defined stop. There's no defined stop if you get in early on TKO. It's just way too close to the top here. That is a big headline from Vlad here.
What?
Yeah, I just wanted to put it up there. It's just Robinhood, basically Vlad Tenev touting their Robinhood banking, 1.5 bill in deposits, up from nearly 100,000 funded customers. So Robinhood not doing too much though.
Okay. I mean, you're in SoFi. I don't know if they're not
day.
really the same name, but you can.
I mean, SoFi is.
I don't think it's going to not move with that headline, of course.
SoFi's not going to move in that headline. SoFi is still doing exactly what it was before. It broke the trend. The trend line turned into some resistance. So, scalp some out, reload. And at this point, it's 326. There will not be another reload. This either goes to VWAP or breaks this prior bar. It becomes binary at this point. Like this late in the day, I'm not trying to fight this thing. You take what you can get and you won't be upset. Robinhood, on the other hand, hey, look, maybe this is a big deal. Maybe it's not. But it's up 5%. I think today's a good day to ask yourself if the up move has made you change how you think about the stock. And with Robinhood, I now own Robinhood shares that are out of the money. It's a long-term play. And I've been waiting for some kind of a ridiculous pullback to actually get into this thing. So kind of knew this day would have come. But I don't think my attitude has changed. It had a flat bottom break at 70. It's still under 70. We're bounced 5%, and this is still under the prior support. So I look at this here, and it goes back further, but why not? Like this area in here, this is actually 69, but you can call it 69, 70. We're just unable to break back through. So I wouldn't change my opinion on what Robinhood is doing trend-wise. It's still under the moving averages. It's got some work to do to maybe break out any kind of a real trend. Even this small downtrend, it would have to show the continuation tomorrow. And a lot of stocks are going to look like this, where it's hard to be completely convinced based on a single days of bounce. When everyone's looking for a bottom, that makes it so much easier to get trapped into the first up move, thinking this is it. And I don't want to fall for that trap. I still think this is a downward trending stock until it shows us something distinctly different.
Yeah, I agree with that. SoFi, Robinhood, definitely in trouble for a minute. But if we can get back to earnings, you know, the banks, the financials will be out first and hopefully be able to lead the way. And let me just double check to see when exactly bank earnings season begins. I mean, it's always JP Morgan. So let me just type in here, JPM. I think 3 weeks away. We'll see. Right there. Yeah, 14 days, Tuesday, April the 14th. So 2 weeks today. You know, we'll get JP Morgan earnings, and that'll start to kick it off. And then, you know, Robinhood and SoFi a little later. We'll see. Robinhood's earnings aren't even on here. So let's go into the calendar and find out when they are. Unconfirmed, but the 29th of April. So you have a long ways before then, and SoFi before that, I believe. 1 day before, 28th. So 28th and 29th of April for these two mega financials, and of course they're not. So SoFi and Robinhood. Yeah, I was talking to Brian about Bitcoin, and I don't think either one of those starts to work until Bitcoin does a little bit. I don't know. I got back in. Like, I feel like maybe we might have seen the top now. Well, not a revenge trade, but I want to be short. I think the market up 3%. I really want to believe in the fact that we could wipe lower here into the close. I can see profit taking happening. These are the end of day imbalances. I don't really see anything on here that's leading me to think that that's the case at all. I just know that they will come out at the end of the day, and maybe we do get more sells than usual or more buys and get influenced a little bit. But let's wait to see. I want to go short basically at the top again and give it a couple more pennies and see if we do wax that top side out. The reason, another part of the reason why is US oil right now is just keeps on hanging out around VWAP. I mean, obviously, if oil is going to come down, the market will probably go back up to the upside. But I think you're a break away. Like, it's kind of like what they say in hockey, don't skate where the puck is, trying to
where it's gonna go.
Stay where it's going to go. So I just think, like, if this VWAP does wind up breaking and oil takes out the top, it'll be too late. Obviously, Nasdaq will have made its move, and the complete opposite could happen as well. Oil could just hang out here and do nothing, and if anything, go down, and then we get stopped out for a 15-cent hit on the Nasdaq. So I kind of like those odds there, but definitely, I already said, shorting a sleepy time market is not always the greatest thing to do. So there we go. We'll take our last fill right now at 65 as we now get new highs, as I just talked about, maybe the market going down. New highs right there on the S&P. Not quite on the Nasdaq, but on the S&P, yes. So, all right, well, we're short at 62. Our out is 10 cents from here. So we'll see if that winds up getting stopped out. One more try here on the high side for the futures, and we'll just see what winds up happening here.
Yeah, by the way, ELAB did open back up and ended up going higher. So fresh highs there for ELAB, up 55%. A little better than Bullfrog today if you're looking at those small cappers. Percentage-wise, I think they're actually close to the same, but the chart looks better. A little more upward momentum. That said, ELAB is a habitual. This is one of the worst ones that I've seen. We pull up a lot of the small cappers that have a lot of reverse splits and pumps and dumps. This seems like one of the worst ones in a while. Like, look at all of, like, reverse dump, parabolic dump, reverse dump, reverse dump, reverse. How many times are you allowed to reverse? Oh, that's right. I've never actually heard an answer to that question. So it seems to be infinite, but if a stock just keeps diluting like that, reverse.
Whatever happened to that one stock, Mullen? They changed names.
Yeah,
I know,
they changed.
They took some out of the futures.
So ridiculous. They changed their name to. Now I don't even remember the name. Like, that was going to make a difference.
Bollinger Innovations, BINI.
Bollinger Bands, yeah.
Didn't they go to the OTC? Bollinger Innovations, BINI.
I don't know. I look at the OTC. I've never seen those guys on there, but
it is. They're not even on the market.
Maybe there's not even any volume.
It's now on. It's 7 cents on the OTC.
Ouch.
Can you even still? You can't.
Rug pull.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter. I could pull up a chart. I've bagged on that. I've bagged on Mullen so many times. And I'm not saying ELAB is like Mullen, but if a stock shows you that 2-3 times a year we're going to do a reverse split and then dump, well, then maybe you should factor that into how you might react when you're trading it. So as much as ELAB is up today, well, if you bought it yesterday at the close looking for a day 2 play, congratulations to 50%. Maybe you want to bank some profit a little more aggressively. It's not the same as, I'll use the example because, look, nothing was up on news today specifically except for Marvell, so I'm going to use Marvell as an example. It's a lot different from holding on to stock that had positive catalyst, which has been trending higher for over a year, and which has a business which is in a sector and blah, blah. I can go on and on. You could probably get what I'm saying here. It's different from holding on to Marvell. This is a company that's going to make money, and again, it's not reverse. If Marvell reverse splits, then I'll eat a. If Marvell reverse splits in the next 5 years, then I'll eat an entire pineapple pizza, because it wouldn't happen. But if ELAB reverse splits, then it's just another quarter, and you should really, really respect that if you can. Apparently, EIQ is another small capper, and markets still like same things happening. Like
yeah,
I got like one reload and one re-exit on SoFi, not much there.
Get down.
EIQ's not doing anything. It's got no vol, less than 1 million shares. It's up 11%. This is an example of a day two play that has utterly disappointed, because it never went parabolic and the volume really died. Oh, it's not day two. I guess it's more than a day two play. It's got a couple of spikes in it. Sometimes this happens, but I would not be in love with it when it does. It's good news. Yeah, it's day 3 or 4, I suppose this would be. And it's holding some higher lows, but the peaks, yikes. The peaks are not good. You need some more vol here.
Yeah,
This is completely dead volume on the EIQ.
Yeah, I mean, right now, just looking at what's been happening here on this hot list trade rate, we did get out of some of our trade rate there at 54s. So we did put on, the bigger trade was at 65, so that's why that's our average price right now. So we'll see. We're up on this trade, obviously, but we're still down from right there. All right, so just what's going on here on this scanner of ours today. We talked about this is a trade rate indicator from eSignal. So what it does is it gives you names that are doing a little bit more volume, Hugh Tech, than they normally do. This is not going to be anything. Sometimes if a name just spikes volume, like right here, it might spike on there, but obviously nothing's moving there. So you got to be careful with that. I just didn't know if that was another name from earlier. We don't have too much as far as the halting. UBXG is halted. What is that? UBX Technologies, 40,000 shares. So not much going on here with UBXG. I just saw that. So Broadcom right now up 5%. So that's going to be a name to potentially look at there. You just talked about Marvell. I always call Marvell Broadcom's little baby brother. But Marvell up 5% today. So Broadcom up 5%, Marvell up 13, whatever you looked at there with different news stories and catalysts today. You know, a name that we didn't get a look at, which will run my trade right out of the barn, is Tesla. Like if this Tesla goes to the upside, then the market will probably follow. Yeah, Tesla, nice move today, up 5%. You know, we did have a little bit of a move up on Tesla immediately there during that afternoon when we did hear some more positive headlines about the market. We saw oil go one way. Obviously, there goes Tesla right there back up to the other side of this trade, but still having a problem. And maybe the short in Tesla was better than the short in the market. I mean, I really feel like we picked the market, but I could have just picked any other name. A lot of these plays have backed off of their highs, but look at Tesla right now, 373. Again, a pretty good base forming right now. But it's stuck in this dollar for this is a 5-minute chart, so you're stuck in here for about an hour right now, bouncing back and forth and not really deciding what it wants to do. So I do think if we get enough juice behind this market and you do take out this, whatever this recent high is, 373.30, then yeah, you do have a great opportunity to get longer in Tesla into the close to see if we break those levels. And then we go back a couple days before we see any of these levels. So we're not too worried about that. But yeah, Tesla, nice little high break potential right now for TSLA as the market high of day again.
Joy blessed. Hey guys, would you hold NVIDIA call overnight? The question, obviously, we're not here to give financial advice. We're going to tell you about our trades and give our opinions on what we think the market is doing and what things look like. This is an incredibly bullish run, but a theme of what we've been saying, what Brian has been saying, is a single day does not make a trend, does not break the trend. I was trying to make that sound somehow profound. No. There's no way to do it.
Almost.
But let's be real. We're still under the 200 period moving average. If we have two things, a little bit of window dressing and end of the month factoring into a little bit of this bounce or some of this bounce, and then the other factor is some headlines coming through, then what's to say that the beginning of the month, which takes away part of it, and then another headline in the other direction, or would just even like negates it. It doesn't have to be in the other direction. It could be contradicting what was already said. It doesn't actually have to be bad news. It could just be not confirming the positive news that we saw this afternoon. And then oil all of a sudden goes back to highs, and we're right back into the lows. We haven't proven anything. And yes, NVIDIA doesn't look as bad as when I was pulling up the Robinhood chart. I'll grant you that. And yes, if we're talking about the long term, if I'm talking about 5 years from now, is NVIDIA an okay buy? It's an under 19 P, it's an under 20 PE, sure. But I don't think that's the question. You're talking about overnight. And overnight, we have proven little, and sometimes we overreact to this. These bounce days. When things are in correction territory, when things are in bear territory, you get these really good relief rallies, and they don't always hold up, and they often turn into traps. There's no second order effect here yet on NVIDIA. Like if this was, like the example I'm going to use is I'll have to just come back to Rocket Lab, where this one, it sort of cleared out the area that I wanted and got into a new price area. And so, and on top of that, like it's bouncing on the positive end of a trend. Like it's bouncing off of the 200 period, which is a support line, instead of NVIDIA, which is coming back underneath. And then it's showing you a level that, okay, well, if it holds here, it's got even more room to go and lots of potential upside. And again, it's bouncing off a positive trend line. NVIDIA is just trying to claw its way back up to the same sort of thing. So I'm a little bit more skeptical there. Headline is a drone attack targeted the logistics support base of the U.S. Embassy inside Baghdad.
I mean, none of these things are mattering. I mean, that's where
that's not a good headline, but
this is part of what we're talking about here, guys. I mean, you're going to need to get a definite answer from somebody about something here, and I don't know. SNDK, yeah. It's been a good trade, right? I mean, we did have that talk with Brian, about SNDK, also about Micron a little bit as well. And all right, so good, so volatile, but so good. Yeah, I mean, up 10%. So SNDK, I'm not sure how you're trading this, whether it be with options or the stock itself, but just me looking at this name here, SanDisk. It's been an absolute monster, right? I mean, good pullback, obviously, from 800 down to 775, 575. So yeah, what goes up does come back in. But trying to respect that 50-period moving average. So I think we got a good one here to potentially hold for a longer bid here. If tomorrow, you talked about NVIDIA holding fort there, if this can hold fort, I really like your opportunity here to have a better trade moving forward with SanDisk, right? I mean, finally taking out that 50-period moving average and looking now like it wants to get back. So I would say, yeah, good hold there, SanDisk, nicely volatile today for sure. Wow, had a nice bottom of 5, like that's today, 590. So, well up, good movement on your 1 minute chart here. Let me have a quick little peek at this. So it holds VWAP early, does break it, still holds basically the 200 period. And yeah, working near the highs of the day right now. You can't ask for much more than that. Working at the high of the day here for SanDisk. So congratulations. Looks like you found yourself a winner here with that one, as it's just going to break through the highs of the day momentarily. So SanDisk making good moves there late. And just really helping out that 25 period moving average, 50 period as well, holding the 200. Yeah, what a day. Look, the green is the 200. You do get those dip downs. You're going to have to probably put a stop order there, and maybe you do get stopped out. But, hopefully get back in when you break through VWAP and play the momentum to the long side there with SNDK.
What time was that break underneath?
Yeah, 11:45, 12 o'clock.
Oh, okay. I was looking to see when that.
Did Micron?
I was looking when the turn in USO was. Just out of my curiosity.
What time is
it? But Micron as well, with 9 minutes to go till imbalances, Micron also is breaking through the highs. It's just distinctly, it's different. Like it resembles, on the daily chart, it's going to resemble something similar to what happened to NVIDIA. Like even this bounce has done not much to gain back some of the prior support. Like you're still in that unwind phase. There. Easy peasy. I see the super chat. Let's throw it up here if we can. Make sure that's the last one, or the most recent one. $3.88, the 0.2%, 1K.
That's a lot.
On HIMS. Swami is back. Sell all. Swami?
What does the market? Oh, that's SNDK moving.
Oh, okay. So, well, you know what? HIMS.
Swami is back. Yeah, what does that mean?
I don't know what Swami, I don't know what that means, but appreciate you. And HIMS is up 10% today. This is one of those ring ye old register. If a stock is respecting a clear trend or a clear moving average, then sometimes you know kind of how far it wants to go, and that's about as far as it goes. It goes right into 21. There's your support level, there's the resistance it turned into, and there is your double top. So guess what we're looking for on continuation on HIMS? If it's not through 21, then there isn't, like this is actually a breakout trade tomorrow through 21 even, if it can manage to do it, showing you a pretty clear level. I'm kind of skeptical that we're gonna get that breakout because I'm not sure we're gonna have as bullish of a day as we think tomorrow. But that's just me. But that 21 level, watch out for that on HIMS if, and that's a big if, it can take it out. We've already pulled back a couple of percentage points off that. Look, we're getting, again, 6 minutes of the imbalances. SoFi's managed to pull halfway into VWAP, so we got one reload with the trend line resistance or support turning into resistance. It was a great question about that this morning, and I'm glad we went over that. It's not to say that when you have a support line, it turns into resistance. It's just that when it does happen, it can be a good spot to reload if it's happening. First, you confirm, like it broke the trend here. This is the candle where it bounced. We took some out, the candle where it bounced. That's the confirmation that's holding the trend line. So the short's after that for me, not sitting in front, assuming the line is gonna hold. It's after it shows you it holds, then you get in. It's like a trend line. You wait for the trend line to confirm it's breaking, and then you jump in, do the trade. Was that a call for Adara?
I think so.
Yep.
This stock just made some new intraday highs above $9. UNIT companies called Unity Group. Reuters reporting that TPG and T-Mobile are reportedly partnering up on a bid to acquire this company. UNIT, back to you.
Where's the pun?
That's Swami equals Sean. Okay.
Units.
What's up with that? Yeah, 50 Cent going at everybody these days. T.I., everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, we got a little bit out there at, thank you, Easy Peasy. We got a little bit out there at 41.61s there as well. Yeah, man, I mean, this market seems to want to be going long. I'm trying to hold out. I mean, it looks like we're going to take out the top right now, but we did get some more out there at 61s. It's still going to be like all fun and games, right? But the short's not printing. We're not really putting out a whole bunch of risk into this trade. That is for sure. Thank you so much there. Now I'm Sammy. I was Swami. Now Sammy. I'll take all of them right now. I'd like to have a chicken Sammy right about now as well. All right. Shout out to the TQQs.
Nice
and yeah, turkey sandwiches are great. Turkey subs are great.
I had
You get one from Jersey Mike's, those
fresh bread.
I love the Jersey Mike's, man.
Good mustard.
Yeah. Turkey is great. I put a little bit of avocado on there as well.
Yep.
Hard to beat that. Okay. Yeah, so that's that. Well, let's see if there's anything popping off here on the Imbalance locator. This trade's eventually just going to come out, man. I mean, I'm bidding 50s. Hopefully it comes into 50. If not, forget about it, man. We'll lose 10. We'll actually lose 8 cents on this trade. So that might be what winds up happening. All right, so HIMS. Okay, we did get a message about HIMS, didn't we, earlier there? So HIMS quickly. I think this might have even been the easy and the peasy one.
Yep, that
was talking about HIMS. Yeah, so, okay, yeah, good move today, up 9%. This is a funny one because what a noisemaker they are. Like, depending, like, you got that new Novo Nordisk today with they released I think it was a different packaging or something for their oral pill weight loss. So I think that's probably helping out a little bit, at least this HIMS trade.
Also a subscription plan they released.
Maybe that's what it was, subscription plan. So for that, so HIMS trying to get back up to the upside. And what did I say? It does have a buy. So here's the HIMS imbalance right there as well. So that's going to go bid side right there, 1.3 million. We mentioned that we expected Meta, I think, to be a sell there into the close.
I can run through here.
All right, why don't we run through it?
Quickie. That's easier to see. Hopefully it's not. Yeah,
stopped out of our futures trade.
Meta's biggest, Alphabet. Actually, if you add up the A and the C, that's actually bigger than Meta, but you can't really do that. Netflix expected to be a downweight, and AT&T, pretty decent size. EA, which is being bought out, that's also expected to be downweight. That could be good. Warner Brothers, small one as well. TKO was the one that stood out to me. 400 million expected to buy. Trade Desk is in here. And remember, just because I show this and you're like, oh my goodness, Meta's going to be this huge sell at 350. It is not some guarantee that that is the direction that it comes out, everybody. That's not how it works. It just, that's what you're expecting. It can give you a reason to be looking at that stock, but that's more what it is. It's a reason to be looking at Meta for that direction. And then maybe if you get the confirmation, you like it. And
Here it comes.
I'm not saying you can't simply, like some traders do this. They'll flat out anticipate that it's going to be a huge sell, and they might go into a short. But I would probably wager to say that most of those traders would do so with a very tight stop, so that if it comes out a buy the wrong direction, they're instantly out and not trying to battle the algos that are bidding it up. So I'd be very cautious with that. And as we get into the imbalances, SoFi doesn't want to get to VWAP, so I'm just going to tighten the stop here. Sometimes the market's just too high. Sometimes you have a little bit too much strength. So even if you get a bit of a reversal, it breaks the trend. It wants to fall. It tries to fall while we're going higher, but it's stopping here. I love the fact that it's holding the higher lows for the long term, but that trend break doesn't look like it's going to VWAP. Another headline before the imbalances come out: Trump administration officials estimate it could take weeks or months to return the strait to full operational status.
Yeah, I think that's.
I mean, that again. How many not bullish headlines have we gotten? And it doesn't seem to matter this afternoon. It's the end of the month, and we got buyers coming in. Either way.
My daughter's going to her first ever chiro appointment today. So to get her, just to get straightened out. I don't even know. A lot of people do that all the time. She has friends that go once a month to the chiropractor there and get all straightened out. So I'm nervous for her. I don't know if anybody in the chat there has puts their little athletes into chiropractic, but yeah, she's going over there to get all worked out. She's taking way too many hits, man. Playing that hockey is just absolutely crazy. So I'm wishing her good luck.
I know a chiro guy, but like everything I've read is like, if you honest, I just feel like for her age, like if you have good mobility and you do mobility work, you should be fine.
Oh yeah, she has all of that stuff.
Yeah,
so
like,
yeah. It's just it's one for it's not. It's like a sports one for youth. So,
it's specifically for that?
Yeah. So it's not, there's no injuries or anything like that, although I think yesterday at her practice, some kid broke her collarbone and potentially lost a tooth. So it was nasty. Two kids ran into each other. Broken collarbone at 12 years old.
Broken collarbone is
great.
not
There, yeah. So, all right, we're going to get ready here to rock and roll with just a couple more seconds to go here. Watch out. We're going to get these all loaded up. We, as Neil mentioned, potentially Meta with a little bit of a sell here to start with. If that does come through, you'll see it very, very soon. I do have Meta on the screen. If it's a sell, watch out for a whoosh to the downside for META. And there it is. I don't see anything right now for Meta moving at all. NWSA, you mentioned News Corp, so that's that one there.
That's
TD, TTD, the trade desk.
Supposed to be a buy.
Is a buy and probably not moving at all for some reason. Apple with a buy side as well. So yeah, some of these names starting to move around. I mean, I'm not really seeing or doing anything right now. The Nasdaq does continue to move higher there. There's the trade. There's Apple gapping up. See, that's $1 gap up there on Apple on a bid as well. I just saw Amazon. What's up? Don't run away from me, Amazon. Amazon up there 210 gapping as well. So nice extension there, which is why you want to punch out, man. If you're stuck in anything, sometimes before these imbalances, because you never know what's going to happen. Oh no, Marvell to sell. Man, we talked. Damn it, Sean. We talked about that 99.50 sell. Could have actually looked smart for once, and that one would have worked out. NVIDIA with 1 million shares to buy. I'm about to go, see, I mean, how much hair I have. I'm about to go pay my barber $50 to cut my hair. So, that guy's about to get a good deal. But I like it for the talk, right? We've talked about
it. Yeah, it's about,
over to that guy. I haven't worn a hat in like almost a couple weeks now. So we wear that today. I'm trying to get those Blue Jays back going. One more time there, and we're gonna go get a haircut.
Yeah, buddy. I'm still
50 Canadian dollars.
I'm still considering
that
bringing the Ball Brotherhood back, but I'm considering it over the weekend. Joe's abandoning.
You're gonna be
Brian
your own,
came on.
Your own brother.
He's got it. Ball Brotherhood? No, he's given it.
No, he's done.
But this is disappointing because it's the end of the month, as you mentioned. Here's the trade desk. It's a 3 million buy. It's moving down. So that seems like a little bit of a nothing burger. Apple's a buy of 2 million, now 1.7 million.
Yep.
Nothing too crazy there. ONDS is a buy of 1.6 million. On this, it's done 50 million shares. The thing about the small cappers is just try to remember 1.6 million on ONDS is not the same as 1.6 million on Apple. Obviously, one stock is a little bit more expensive, a lot more expensive than the other, but it is trying to go a little bit higher. But I'm going to call that nothing burger. It's at high of day with a buy and balance, which I'm not a gigantic fan of, and it's not big enough as well. So there you go. Easy peasy, paid by Sean, buy and balance on him. Buy and balance? I don't even...
I appreciate it. I'm not sure what that means
Yeah,
exactly.
we appreciate it for sure.
Down with that. Yeah, I mean, it does look like a buy imbalance, and I mean, we were only short the Qs. It does make it move up into 70s there. Up into O's, 42, back into 70s right now, making a winner of that trade. But what are you going to do? As you do get stopped out, we want to thank you, Easy Peasy. I was trying to figure out that math. 0.2%, almost $4. So a good little day for you there today as well. Yeah, nothing's hitting on my scanners for me to talk to you guys about, so I have to figure out what's going on with those maybe after. Right now, BFRG, Bullfrog, was a interesting name today that I know a lot of you were trading, up 60%, and a couple extensions there. This was a name that we've looked at over the last couple days as well. You've had some big moves, 40 cents up to, what's up, HIMS? Oh yeah, that's right. It was a buy imbalance for HIMS. We were talking about that. I know that was a super chat that you had given, so good shout out there.
Even that's not moving on the imbalance.
No, what is it still?
It went a little bit. Is it still there?
I don't know. I'll call it up for him.
I don't see it.
What's up, Easy Peasy?
Oh, there it is.
There it is down here. Yeah,
You gotta wait for
885.
885. Yeah.
So it still is a buy imbalance.
But it was expected was 1.2, so it's a little bit lower than expected. Nvidia is
Apple
now,
came right back.
Nvidia is now 1 million to the sell side. If you're watching, if you're looking at Nvidia, it's at the high of the day. It's up 5.5%, but there is a now sell imbalance with only about 6 minutes to go. Well, that's right. Whatever happened to silver?
Oh, I was looking at it.
Yeah,
but
silver and
pulled
gold.
my bids.
What happened to silver? Silver's still going. SLV, I know. SLV still going. This looks like a continuation play tomorrow as well. Is gold? I don't want to make the assumption that gold is up, but I'm pretty sure, obviously, yeah, there you go. GLD as well. But GLD hasn't, this has got a break as well. This has a break to fill a gap through 431. So maybe there's a continuation play in GLD, even if silver isn't as spectacular as you might think it could be. So yeah, watch out for the metals. Certainly that's going to be in play. Don't know what to tell you about oil this afternoon. But color me surprised. There wasn't any move in USO. It's sliding down now, but it's barely breaking out of this range. So for all the volatility we had, kind of a quiet end of the day here for USO. It is ending on the weak side. It's underneath VWAP, but it's well off of the lows of the day here. Somewhat surprising. You'd have thought if we're going to end on, if you told me that we're going to end with this kind of a push,
I would have thought that too.
Like ES and Nasdaq are ending at 3% at the highs of the day, I'd tell you USO is at the low of the day.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
well,
not.
it's
just not the case. So there's some skepticism here, but it's not happening in the overall market. But it's enough to keep me skeptical about tomorrow, because oil's not dropping, and that's been the real catalyst here.
Yeah, I wanted to look at the broader markets as well. I was going to look at oil as well, but yeah, not really doing much over there either. I mean, look, what a day, right? I mean, we have that sort of meme of everybody's winning. We can't get enough winning. But today, yeah, you do have winning today. I mean, Eli Lilly back up. I mean, most of these sectors today are winning, right? Eli Lilly up 3.5 there. AbbVie, Thermo Fisher's upside as well. I think that was... Is Thermo Fisher one of Sharif's picks? I can't remember. Tesla there up 4.5% as well. Nice move. And, I even highlighted this sector yesterday when I was like, you know what, man, these industrials, definitely something to look at if there was a downside push in the market continuation. And look what happens on an update, man. Caterpillar, Lamb, Givernova, all these names, right, really starting to go higher. So that's really great to see there as well. And the financials, we said 2 weeks away from major bank earnings. So that's 2 weeks away right now. Nice to see my guy over here, JP Morgan, making the move backside as well there. And yeah, these are just the financials, man. Citigroup as well. And somewhere in here is Robinhood, but I think that's something similar. There it is, 6% as well there for Robinhood. What was that super chat that I just saw there?
Casey with a great question, and we know it's a holiday shortened week. Thank you for the super chat, Casey. It is normal trading hours for each of it's a holiday shortened week. Friday is Good Friday, therefore the market is closed. But every other day is regular trading hours.
Yeah, no.
There's
Thursday.
no half day or anything on Thursday. They only really don't.
Which makes sense, right? I mean, good question. So often you will get that Thursday half day, but
which they should do for New Year's Eve.
Not this time.
Nobody, I don't know a trader out there or someone in the market
I don't understand
doesn't think. I've never understood.
I don't understand that either. Why
nothing happens the second half of the day?
Yeah, we're questioning why New Year's Eve everybody is a full day.
Like, just let us
get out. What's up, Dara?
Yeah, I mean, we have some more Middle East headlines. I guess IDF saying they're continuing to identify and target launchers. But in the meantime, I want to let you know I will be off, but the infographics on X at TTV Research will not be. Here's what I just posted here on Lamb, Weston, and Conagra Brands earnings before the bell tomorrow. I have a fun little Easter-themed one, or sorry, not Easter, April Fool's infographic that'll be coming out tomorrow. We have a little bit of a reminiscence on April 2nd, Liberation Day. That'll be coming out on Thursday, which is, of course, the one-year anniversary of Liberation Day. There's going to be a lot of fun visuals here while I am gone, so make sure to join us on X at TTV Research. There will be a steady stream of posts every single day. Back to you.
Yes, and make sure you enjoy that much-deserved time off there at Dara.
Go Adara.
For sure. Oh, there you go. And SideQuest Investor. Cool show. What inspired the show? It's a full story, but the short end of it is Real Trading, which is the trading firm, prop firm that we're in. There was meant to be like an in-house training program. And the in-house training program, which Sean was doing, while he was in Paris you were coming back on a Monday, the company was like, this would be really cool to not just do as like the in-house thing.
Right,
Let's expand it and turn it into a show and do it for longer than just like an hour a day. And then that's when he's like, you should do it too with him, and it can be like broadcasting. Mm-hmm. And then what happened, we did it for 8 months, and then at the beginning of COVID, the idea to come onto YouTube, I don't even remember if it was his idea or who mentioned it, but we basically decided, hey, this is a good product, let's put it onto YouTube right when COVID started, or right about when COVID started. And I think we came on in like January or something, and then basically the lockdowns were like a month and a half later, and so things blew up. But thanks for asking.
Yeah, good. Thanks for that. Great question. And have a good one, Dara. She'll be back, did you say Monday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay, so Tuesday. Okay, so
I will miss you all. I will miss the news, and see you guys on Tuesday.
Okay, good. Thank you, Daryl. We should have Sia, I believe, potentially. I don't know. We'll have to double check the schedules there. She's working through school, so we want to say shout out to Sia, of course, and she'll be here when she can be. All right. Other than that, Joe will be on the news desk, so don't worry about that. Okay, so here's AMC with the downside. Paramount, PSKY, Warner Brothers. I mean, all these DNN. What the? Stop clicking on DNN. I can't click on where. There's Warner Brothers, right there. So Warner Brothers, $27. Where's that buyout premium? Doesn't seem to be there right now for them. And I'm not, as we get down with only 5 seconds left, looks like the Nasdaq. I mean, this might be one of the biggest days we've seen all year. I think up 3.5% today, 3.35%. So, thank you to everybody for enjoying. And thank you for all the super chats. We did have quite a bit there. I want to thank Brian Shannon for coming through today as well. Who did you guys have this morning? Anybody or no?
Oh, Tuesday, so we didn't have anybody.
Okay,
there was an interview in the Midday show.
Oh, good, okay.
So great job by Dara. And I want to thank Obi for filling for Sean this morning.
And he'll be in there tomorrow. He'll be in for Sharif all week. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Sharif is off on vacation, so we're going to see Obi on the Midday tomorrow with Joe.
Sharif on vacation, Dara on vacation. Pretty soon, Joe going to go on vacation over here. You just got back. I'm gonna try to go on vacation at some point here. Brendan's going on vacation soon.
To get some sun.
I don't know, Fabian's on vacation. Everyone's on vacation over here. But you guys don't leave us, man. We're going to be here. This is the one thing.
Goes on.
We're here every single day. So if the market's going to be open, man, please do enjoy. Watch us on TikTok. Watch us on Instagram, on Twitch, on Twitter, on Instagram. Did I say that already? On YouTube. Say
it again.
Trump just said again, the war is coming to an end, so that's great. Make sure that you do join us back tomorrow, because with more tweets like this, you never know what we could bring you. And it just takes one, knock it out of the park. So, all right, good show today. We're out of here. I'm going to go get my haircut and get ripped off. And I'll see everybody tomorrow, bright and early, 8 a.m. Ciao. Have a great vacay, Miss Adara.
Fun, Adara.
All right, bye.
Bye.